We gather here tonight to bring women back to their rightful place.
The Testaments, a new Hulu original series from the executive producers of The Handmaid's Tale.
It's easier to accept a story than believe that the people around you are monsters.
The battle isn't over.
There comes a time when you have to take action, when you have to choose your own destiny.
Never quite as it seems.
Watch the new Hulu original series, The Testaments, April 8th on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Social Media Derby. We're back. International break is almost over and we got a very special episode this week. You will have probably seen loads of overrated player lists and different drafts and stuff going around on social media, and we're going to do our own version today as well. So we'll do top 3 overrated players for Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool and Man United as voted by the Social Media Derby team. But before we get into the episode, for those watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, share if you can. And for those listening on the podcasting platforms, please follow, give us a 5-star review. All of that stuff helps grow the pod. And of course, I think this is definitely, again, necessary because there's some controversial votes gone in for the overrated players and we might get some crash outs. The views expressed in the pod, just entertainment purposes, do not reflect our real opinions unless football related. How are you, man, doing? Super long international break. We're basically done. Ready for some football as well. We'll also touch on the FA Cup and Champions League preview as well. But you guys doing all right?
All good, mate.
Not too bad. I'm ready for the international break to be over so I can open up my lead even further on IO in the prediction league.
Yeah, man, it's been I don't know, this international break has felt super, super long. And this is the break, isn't it, that they're going to extend to 3 weeks next year. So, bloody hell, next year, that 3-week break is going to be torture, man. But yeah.
At least Man United fans will be used to it, though.
Yeah, true. We got a 4-week break now, so after the season we had, it's probably good for us. What were you going to say, Razor?
I was going to say if there's less pop to ACLs as a result of them putting in a couple of breaks, then I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the break.
I hate the break itself. Yeah, of course you did.
I loved it.
Jamaica going out, you loved it, yeah? All right.
No, that was fun. that was
yeah.
That was horrible, man.
Big Axel. Yeah, big up all the Congolese out there going to the World Cup. But yeah, let's get into the special segment then, lads. So yeah, I'm sure you lot have all seen it. There's been loads of like overrated lists going out over the last few weeks. It's become like a bit of a trending topic on social media. So we're going to do this segment as well on the pod. So instead of doing a big long list, opening it out to Premier League or football in general, we thought we'd do it based on each of our teams. So top 3 overrated players for all 4 of the clubs that are represented on the pod. The caveat being the Arsenal fans, so Jonty, Razor and Io couldn't vote on Arsenal, but they could vote on Chelsea, Liverpool and United. And then the same applies to Khem and Liverpool, Rhys and Chelsea, and myself and Nash for Man United. So we voted our top 3s. Our first place got 5 points. Our second place got 2 points. Our third place got 1 point. And then we tallied all the scores together to make the overall top 3 for each of our teams. So we'll do it in alphabetical order because we got the Arsenal reps on the pod already. So we'll start with the Arsenal list. But before we get into the top 3, I'll run through some of the people that didn't quite make it in the top 3 but got votes. So there were quite a lot of other players, but if you compare it with Chelsea, Liverpool and United, there was definitely a smaller pool of players that got picked by all the non-Arsenal reps on the pod. So I'll start from the 2 players that only got 1 point. So Kai Havertz got 1 point. He was voted 3rd. I'll just check now who voted for Kai. I think we could probably guess, yeah. Rhys voted him 3rd. this is hilarious as well. So the caveat, when I put the call out to everyone, I didn't tell them it was all-time Premier League. So we got a lot of current players, and then I shared that it was all-time Premier League. One particular person went from one extreme to the other when that news was shared with them, and their vote third for Arsenal was Lee Dixon, 1 point, which is hilarious to me because I don't know who really rates Lee Dixon that highly, but yeah, he got 1 point from Nash.
This is the same guy who's Man United signing of the season. Still plays for Brighton.
Play for Man United, yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, let's put the prize in the bag, my guy. Or whatever the Zimbabwean version of that is.
Yeah, the Zambezi in the bag. And yeah, so Lee Dixon and Kai Havertz both got 1 point. And then 3 players also got 3 points. They were voted second by 3 different people. So we got a 3-way tie with Jack Wilshere, who was actually voted second by myself. Robert Pires was voted second by I think this smells of a Nash one too. Yep, that was Nash as well. And then Dennis Bergkamp was voted as well second by the one and only Khem. So those guys didn't quite make it. And then the final player who just missed out, he was voted number 1 by Nash, is your invincible goalkeeper, Jens Lehmann. So he just misses out on top 3 overrated. What did the Arsenal man think of these votes? Do you think any of them have any credence? Do you think some of this is hate, some of this is biased? What do you make of those 6 players that didn't quite make the top 3?
Wait. So say them again. Sorry. So Wilshere.
No. So we got Kai Havertz and Lee Dixon both got 1 point. Then we got Jack Wilshere, Robert Pires, and Dennis Bergkamp all got 3 points. They got voted second by myself, Nash, and Khem. And then you got Jens Lehmann just missing out. He got voted number 1 by Nash with 5 points. What do we think of those 6 players? Do you think any of them are crazy shouts? Do you think any maybe have got actually a leg to stand on in being overrated?
Ray, where should we start?
Quite a lot of invincible players.
Should we start on Bergkamp? I think we need to start on Bergkamp.
If you want,
Where do you want to start?
Just like this is okay. I feel like I took the instruction too seriously based on this first round of things. So, yeah, let's start with Bergkamp.
Yeah,
Mental.
start on him. I mean, he did really help you guys in Europe, didn't he?
Okay, so now
And he has 87 league goals in 11
shit
years. We
scared
give
of
out
getting on a
statues. We give
plane.
out statues for anything, I guess. We might as well give Bobby Firmino one because he got 82 in 8 years. If that's what we're doing, I'm
Might
just
as
saying.
well. That's between
He
you.
actually-
That's
yeah.
between. Oh, sorry. That's between
He actually
actual
hasn't had a-
Scousers and Bobby Firmino. Like,
He actually
we
hasn't
rate
had.
Dennis Bergkamp,
He
so we
actually
gave him
hasn't had a
statue.
double figure.
For secondly,
Premier League
nobody asked you
season.
to speak. You're not an
He actually
Arsenal
had
fan. No one
whose
asked
vote
you to
was it?
speak. You
Whose vote
you
was
just
it?
started a
was
monologue.
Kem's
No one.
fault. It
No
was
one.
Kem's
No
fault.
one.
It was.
No
I knew
one
you were going to start
greenlit
with it.
that.
I'm just saying. 'Cause
No
it was
one
gonna get you.
greenlit that.
I'm just asking.
Dennis
How come he
Bergkamp-
doesn't have
Dennis
any? How come
Bergkamp.
he doesn't have a double figure Premier League goal season this century?
But wait,
Just
Ken,
wondering.
before we give the Arsenal lads a chance to rebuttal it, because obviously they're outraged with it, right? What is your?
I'm not outraged. I just think it's a
A
childish
statue.
response.
Certain people.
I feel like I could.
Who
We
have
could
the
have said
statues
Gerrard. We could have
outside
said
of-
Gerrard like for Liverpool because it's like, oh yeah,
we'll
people
get
put
there.
him in the
We'll
Prem
get
all
there.
the time. People put him in the
Thierry
Prem all
Henry
the
has
time.
a statue,
11,
that's
but
fine.
he doesn't. He hasn't got a trophy. Like
Thierry Henry is your all-time top scorer.
Gerrard was an
and he's
excellent
the best
footballer.
Premier League
Dennis
player,
Bergkamp's
whatever.
an excellent footballer.
Dennis
He's
Bergkamp
not, I
didn't
don't
even
think
touch
he's
100
overrated.
goals
By
in 11
anyone.
years, and you gave him a statue, bruv.
But what?
And you only
what's-
played.
what
and
else
he
did
only
he
played-
do?
He only played domestic
What
as
else?
well.
What else did
So
he do?
you got a statue
What else did he do?
outside of
What
Euro.
else was
you
he
got a
involved
statue.
in?
Well,
What
he
was
wasn't
the-
involved
what else
in
was
many
he
pictures
involved
when you
in?
needed him.
Kem, give the real logic. Let's just wait for a second.
There isn't
and,
any
like, try
logic.
and unpack the real logic.
He's just trying to be
league
funny,
goals
and
has got
it's
them a
not
statue.
funny.
This has started well, man. I like it.
Is that statue worthy for you? Is that statue worthy for you, man? I'm just asking. You might as well give Solskjaer one, isn't it? He probably got 87 goals as well.
I'll be honest. I definitely don't. In my
Give
opinion,
Origi too, yeah?
I don't think Bergkamp is overrated. I think he's like a class 10 of that generation. I do think obviously Arsenal fans are gonna like rate him like higher than probably like the neutral fans. But I don't think
I
the
don't think we
disparity.
do.
But
I don't think we do. No, wait, hold on. That's what's weird about this. Like, I don't think Bergkamp's like Like, there's obviously like an element of rage baiting being attempted, but that's why I said it's not even like, because Jonty was like, "Oh, this has started well," and I was like, "I don't even think it has. It's just a bit weird." Like, Dennis
in terms of rage baiting people, this is excellent.
Dennis Bergkamp's a player who scored quality, important goals for Arsenal during a time that is obviously etched into a lot of Arsenal fans' minds. That's why he has a statue. Is he an important player? Is he a loved player? Yeah, bare loved. Like, bare Arsenal fans from a certain generation love him. I don't think any Arsenal fan in their right mind would say that Dennis Bergkamp is even our best 10, like, at football of all time.
I think this is a really good
how
point,
the bar
right?
of Islington approved that.
Khem, right? Putting a statue up there, right? Like, that's all relative to you as a club, right? If you went outside Millwall Stadium, they've got statues up of people that no one's ever fucking heard of, and we wouldn't be cussing them out. So I think the point. No, yeah, that was harsh. Millwall, see Tottenham next year. But anyway, I think the point is, like, do you think that Arsenal fans put Bergkamp in conversations with players that he doesn't deserve to be in? And because that was how I was thinking of a lot of this in my mind. I know that we'll probably have different viewpoints, right? But I was thinking in my mind, who do Man United put in conversations that I don't think belong in that conversation? Same thing with Chelsea. And that's, I guess, Khem, that's my question to you, is like, who have you heard Arsenal fans put Bergkamp in a conversation with that you think he doesn't belong in a conversation with? Because I've never heard an Arsenal fan say, like, oh, Bergkamp's like fucking better than Cantona, or Bergkamp's better than this, that, and the other. We just admire him as a really good player.
We all just fucking love that goal. That's literally it. We love that goal. We love
also
the
link up between him and Henry, right? He's part of it was part of a really like a classic.
The point I was trying to make earlier, though, was just that it's natural that your own player, even if they are great, even if they are like legendary, even if they've achieved unbelievable things, like, naturally your own fans will probably have like a slightly fonder like memory of them, or like place them. I'm not saying in conversations they shouldn't be, but in those conversations they may lean towards them, right? Like, I have definitely heard Arsenal fans say, like, not as an outrageous, I don't think it's even outrageous, that Bergkamp was a better player than Cantona. I don't agree, but I don't think he deserves to be on this list, because he should be in that conversation. I think he just wouldn't be at the top for me, right? I would pick Cantona above him. There's a few other players in that kind of 10 position in Premier League that I would pick above him, but he's definitely in the convo. So I think it's a bit harsh to put Bergkamp in there myself, but that's why I wanted to get the logic from Khem to see if there was, or if it was just a bit rage baity.
Did he get inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame? I can't actually remember.
I don't think he has yet, but I mean, we know there's quite a lot.
Maybe when Kevin Nolan gets inducted, he can go in the same class.
Are we in Connecticut? Are we in
Did you say fucking
Jersey?
Kevin Nolan?
Does anyone give a fuck about the Premier League Hall of Fame?
Let's move down this list, right? Because I think we've now worked out what that vote was mainly about. My vote, Jack Wilshere. I think that's quite a fair shout. I don't know. Maybe you guys think he's not rated that highly, but I think his promise.
I actually do think it's fair.
Fans still think. All right.
Yeah, I actually do think it's fair, and I will say it mainly because, well, number one, he's got a big moment, right? And it's not even that big a moment, but it was a big enough moment where people still talk about it, right? It's one of those things where they say, okay, he ran a game against a really good team, right? And it's been used in other clubs too, right? People will point to, Man United centre midfielders like Scholes, for example, or what Xavi said about Scholes. People will point to these little tidbits and these little moments and then use that to like put them in really big categories. But again, I don't think any Arsenal fan is putting Wilshere in the conversation with any really great Premier League centre mids. I think it's more of, we probably overrate what we think he could have been. And that I would think is fair, right? You overrate. We think that he could have been an English Xavi or whatever else. And fair enough if that's what you want to say, we're overrating. But I don't think we overrate what he actually did. I think we're all pretty consistent at like what his actual career ended up being was nothing special, really.
Yeah, strong agree. He's again, like, this is again. I'm not sure if this is like a lack of comprehension skills. Obviously not on your part, because you're the only person who knew what you meant with the original question, and like all of us failed the task basically. But like, I'm not sure if it's like a direct like looking to rage bait that has kind of failed. Like, if anything, it's turned into confusion bait, which is, you know, good for you guys. But like, like not a lot of these names like are people that I think Arsenal fans rate very like super highly in the sense of being like top footballers. I think that they're like players that Arsenal fans rate in the sense of loving them. Like Jack Wilshere is a kind of player that, like, you know, he's got the moment on the bus. I think it's like the FA Cup tour, like a trophy thing where he's doing like drunkenly doing like Tottenham, what do you think of shit and like that. He still does that stuff now. Like he's still like he's an Arsenal boy in it. So like people rated like what they thought he could become. Do you know what I mean? I think like a more modern example is like an Emil Smith Rowe. Do you know what I mean? Like people definitely rated what they thought the potential would be. And do you know what? I've heard people say outlandish things in terms of that potential. You know what I mean? I've heard people compare Jack Wilshere to Barcelona midfield greats that they have no business doing. So if that's what it's rooted in, then I hear that one. I hear that shout. I don't think any of us are under any illusions about Jack Wilshere's actual career and like how it went. He had a lot of potential at one point, being a gifted youngster at a club like Arsenal. But yeah, again, like a lot of players that you've said, if you were to ask me to name like my top 5 Arsenal players in their position, they would have a lot of competition. So like, it's interesting to hear that we love them or overrate them so much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think there's some in there. Obviously, like Lee Dixon, I don't know really what Nash is thinking about with that one. But Kai Havertz, Rhys has now joined the pod. What up, bro? He obviously voted Kai Havertz in number 3 for Arsenal. That might be a little bit of a fishing escapade. But I'm surprised to hear you say that about the Lehmann, Bergkamp, Pires shouts, at least, because I do think those are like much loved, highly rated players. Not only by Arsenal fans, but I do think a lot of Premier League watchers rate at least Khem and Pires quite highly. Maybe not.
This is trophy discourse though. Like if you're in like realistically, this is trophy discourse in my opinion as an Arsenal fan. Yeah, doing what that group of players at that time, some of them were able to achieve. Yeah, that's gonna put you in those chats, whether you were that guy or you just played a squad role. When we get to some of the other suggestions, there are certain players that I've put in for other teams that have got great like team honors on their CV, and you can't take it away from them. But I think people have said, "Oh, you're involved in X discussion or Y discussion because of that." Like this is guys opening the floor. There's a convo we have regularly as football fans. When was the last time you sat down? We outnumber all of you, man, in the group chat. When was the last time we talked about Prem greats or Prem all-time 11? And brothers started off with Jens Lehmann in goal. Nobody does that. Nobody does that, bro. So for me, I'm just like, what do you want me to defend? Like, okay, I can name you like
Bergkamp and Pires would be your representative.
Pires, I've never heard anybody say that. I've never heard anybody say that they would put Pires into their all-time 11.
Really?
Yeah, like Prem all-time 11, maybe an Arsenal all-time 11.
No fucking chance he's getting.
I've never heard that.
I've never heard an Arsenal fan.
He was the guy they subbed for Almunia in the final.
And you have to understand, I am a Pires stan. He was one of my favorite players from us for that generation. But I rated him like the same way I rated Lundberg because I rated him because he was an Arsenal player. I rated him because he dyed his hair as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I rated him for being like a character. But yeah, I was never like, this guy is better than, do you know what I mean? Like this person and that person. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you, man. All right, let's get into the actual top 3 then, because those guys didn't even make it, by the way. So let's go on to third place. I feel like we're going to linger around the same topic on third place. With 6 points, he was voted third by me, and he was voted first by Rhys. His name is Theo Walcott. So according to the pod, Theo Walcott is voted third most overrated Arsenal player. Rhys, since you voted him number one, do you want to give us the logic behind why you think Theo Walcott is like one of Arsenal's most overrated players?
Yeah, I think, do you know what it was? It's all the World Cup hype back in the day, and there was like all that hype surrounding him. I just don't think he ever lived up to the expectation of, because when you first saw him, he looked like an Henry regen, and then I just don't think he ever sort of lived up to that hype. So I just think he ended up just being a bit of a speed merchant in the end. But yeah, I would say he was quite overrated, just in terms of the expectation he had, maybe. And just like there was a lot of hype because I think he robbed Darren Bent and Jermaine Defoe of a World Cup spot and never even played. So I just think, yeah, it was a bit overrated in that sense. If we're talking all time, I mean, it's difficult to go through sort of Arsenal players, especially from back in the day, and probably call them overrated. Because I think back in the day, they did sort of play a lot of good football and they had a lot of good players like throughout their years, even when they weren't that good. I mean, like with Ozil, Cazorla, like those type of players. So they always had like those sort of streets won't forget type players. So yeah, if I could pick one out, I'd probably say Walcott.
Yeah, I get it. I definitely think there was a lot of hype, obviously, around the World Cup. When he got that call up at 16 or whatever it was. The only thing I would throw out there, and I'm not going to do Jonty and Razor's job on this, but I swear he's in the 100 club. Or is he like nearby the 100 club? Or like he's scored a lot of goals for someone for someone who I think I definitely agree that he's very limited as a player. It was definitely like a kick and run, speed, like, you know, his first time finishing and stuff was decent. When he basically, I think for me, Theo Walcott is the epitome of a like instinct, don't let him think type finisher. Like if he got one-on-one through ball or over the top and he was clear on goal and he just was, you know, able to shoot without thinking too much, he would do decent and score a decent amount of goals. But if you actually asked him to create things for himself with any kind of intricate play or skillful play, he probably didn't have that bag. But what do you think, John?
You know?
He has one highlight that would prove that last part incorrect, but I will, in general, agree with you that he's basically an olden day Martinelli, right? And I don't mean that to say that Martinelli's bad or that he's bad or anything. I just think that, yeah, he was hyped up. He was given the number 14 and all this, that, and the other, you know, and we were expecting him to be this big guy. And he never really came through it. He had moments, like I said, like he's had the Tottenham moments and stuff like that, and where he's like fucking, what did he crawled under someone's legs to get through like fucking 4 different players from the corner flag. Like he's got those moments. They still go down in probably in some sort of history for us in terms of like Premier League years and stuff like that. But I actually am fine with Walcott because I think if you look at it now, all of the not the overrating, but all of the hype that we had for him, we ain't got no hype from anymore. Like Arsenal fans see him as a pundit and we're just like, get this fucking guy off my screen. Like, there's no like nostalgia for him. And it's a shame because he actually seems like a good lad, but there's no like big nostalgia for him. And I don't think he ever really lived up to what we thought he was going to be. But again, it might be one of those things where we maybe put too much pressure on him, but I'm actually okay with it. I do think that at the time, we had him like, we've done this a few times now, but we had him as supposed to be the next Henry type of thing. And he was most certainly nowhere near that. So I'm actually all right with it. Good player, but nowhere near that category.
Yeah, I think that also the reason why I'll go in is because a lot of the time people now will just look at stats, right? And if you look at the stats, that would give him a stronger case considering his goals and output. I guess the only thing that needs to be factored in with that is he had a lot of seasons to get those goals. It wasn't like he had any crazy season where he bagged 20 or did something really, really notable in a Prem anyway. But yeah, stat merchants might look at him and say, this is this is a bit harsh. I don't know if you have anything to add, Razor, before we go on to number 2, Theo Walcott.
No, I think we've finally gotten to when I was thinking, who would I put if I had a vote for Arsenal? I thought Theo Walcott would be on the list. So yeah, I actually have a lot of time for this. Like John said, I think he had some moments, things that endeared us. But I think even if you were to poll exclusively Arsenal fans, I think he would be up there. A lot of the stuff that John said, I think giving the 14 jersey to a guy it's a lot to carry in the post Henry Arsenal like sort of time. And yeah, I think the only thing probably saving Eddie Nketiah from it is the fact that nobody really believed that was what we were going to get from. Everyone was surprised that he got the jersey, but the jersey is heavy, man. And I think it probably added to, rightly or wrongly, to our expectations, which I don't think he necessarily hit. But, seems like a nice guy. He's very positive of Arsenal, even though we aren't super loving or fond of him. I wish him the best in that. But yeah, probably fair to call him overrated. Blood pressure,
Yeah. We're calming down now. We're settling into it, hopefully.
No. We haven't had this number 2.
No. We're going to get stupid.
I know what's fucking coming. I can see it on
I know there's stupidity coming.
I was going to say, as mid-flow, I looked at the notes that I got open and I thought, fucking hell, I'm lying here. This is where blood pressure is about to go up again. All right, number 2, with votes from Khem, I think you put him in 3rd, and I'm mostly to blame for this one, is a certain Norwegian captain, Martin Odegaard. So he's in 2nd with the same amount of points. It could be him or Walcott, really. I've done an alphabetical thing to split them. But yeah, he's up in there. And I think, and my thought process on this is including myself. I overrated him too. Like after what he did in that season, where he absolutely bagged like crazy, like big goals as well in that first title charge that you had. Some of the problems that we now see, or the issues that you now see with Odegaard, didn't look like he had them at the time. And maybe it's been injuries, maybe it's been like the way that the system has evolved or how Arteta has played since. But I think I and many people who put him up in them, people weren't saying he was better than KDB, but he was in those combos with the best playmakers in the league around that time. And it stretched even, I would say, probably 12 to 18 months after that unbelievable season. I don't think he's in that caliber. I don't think he's a rubbish player. I'm not going to pretend to be Io. But I do think he's been overrated. I don't think he's as good as we all guessed or thought he was based on that amazing season. But I don't know what the Arsenal lads or anyone else think. Khem, you also voted. What was your thinking on Odegaard? Was it just fishing, or what's your thoughts?
I personally have never rated him. Like, I remember hearing this guy's name come up to drag down Szoboszlai even 2 seasons ago, and I was fighting back then. And Szoboszlai he's really not, bro. I don't know what you're watching. I don't know.
Fucking Hungarian Ward Prowse, mate.
Are they editing everything you see over there? Even the live TV, they're editing that as well.
Mate, tell your size 6 wearing feet, fucking Hungarian.
Odegaard, no Odegaard. Tell me what's
you're having
he
your
done,
fucking stinkiest season, and he's your best player, and suddenly he's a great player.
It doesn't matter. Szoboszlai did better than him last year, and when he won the league, mate, he actually produces for his team.
Szoboszlai did better than last year. Szoboszlai did fuck all last year.
He did more than Odegaard, bro.
He did fuck all last year.
He did more than Odegaard. An average season for Szoboszlai.
I guarantee
Odegaard's
you he did
best. Have a look, then, man. It's all there. Google's free here. But like with him, man, he's just I've personally never rated him. Real Madrid don't give up on young players that they believe in. You know what I'm saying? Like, they give him a chance, constantly. Bro. No. They binned him before he even started, bro.
Do you remember the guy that broke Konate's or whoever's arm? They gave up on him.
They gave up on him because he's dating like a 30-year-old, mate. They can tell he's an idiot.
They don't give a fuck who they're dating.
They do, man. Look at Bellingham's.
Trent's dating girls that look like little boys, and they're still fine with him, mate. So settle down.
Wait, whoa. Allegedly.
But yeah, Odegaard, I personally think that I think he does okay, to system, but I don't know many. I wouldn't. I don't know about you and or Rhys, but I wouldn't be like, oh, I'd love to have Odegaard in my team. I don't know how about you guys. I've never looked at him and thought, yeah, I'd really love to have that player. So
I mean, I don't know about you, Rhys. You jump in a minute. I mean, in that season, definitely. I thought he was gonna like progress to be like
Bruno?
One of the big. Well, no, I would have. I wouldn't swap him, but I would definitely have him in my team.
So where would he go then, based off of that season? If Bruno is staying, then what's Odegaard gonna do?
The thing is
Exactly,
with Bruno,
Ben.
right? Most
Be
likely,
honest,
but,
man. It's okay. Be honest. You wouldn't have him.
I wouldn't, but even at that time, he was in the conversation. I was putting him in the. Me and Jonty were doing the pod at that time. He was in the conversations with the Brunos, with the KDBs, with the like proper playmakers.
Which was he was incorrectly included. Now you can look back on it.
No,
and say,
with hindsight, yeah, that's why I voted for him. Like he's not.
Rhys,
like,
would you have him in your team, even in a state of disarray? Would you want Odegaard in your team, bro? Instead of what Copama? Even injured Copama, you'd rather have him than no Odegaard, bro.
You lot are
or even Enzo.
in this pudding.
No,
Fuck
you
me.
have to. No, but John, you have to remember it's overrated, and you can't say Odegaard wasn't hyped up like from a very early age. There was a lot of talk about what.
Yeah, but we're not doing overrating for his Real Madrid career when he was fucking 14. We're doing it for the last 5 years that he's been at Arsenal.
How many good seasons would you say he's had at Arsenal in the last 5 years?
2.5.
6 months.
2.5.
It's definitely not 6 months, and maybe 2.5 is being a bit generous, but it's somewhere in that ballpark.
2.5.
11, 12 months.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think,
Rhys, you're saying you wouldn't have him, yeah?
No, I obviously I know the sort of player he could be, but I just don't think he actually has lived up to that sort of hype. I mean, yeah, I see how I see his FM stats back in the day.
Yeah, he was a wonder kid, yeah.
Yeah, bro, he was mad. But yeah, I just think from what his potential was, he hasn't definitely lived up to that.
He's 29 next year.
He's what?
29 next year.
He's not 29.
How old is he currently?
That can't be real. That can't be
How
real.
old is he currently right now?
27.
Exactly. So stop doing your fucking bullshit BS. You're telling me you've got 2 birthdays.
He turns 28 this year. He's 29 next year. Where did I lie?
Out of here.
Where did I
lie? Gender bullshit out of
He turns 28 in
He's
December.
29 next year. He's 27 right now, though. You stupid prick.
I didn't lie. I said he turns 29 next year.
You didn't lie, but you definitely didn't tell the truth.
We saw Sky Sports stats happening in front of our eyes right there. Man just got the stat and twisted it right in front of our faces. That was hilarious.
Narrative, proper journalism.
But John's like a razor jump in as well when you're available back as well. Like, do you think we're completely being harsh, or do you think there is some credence in the idea that Odegaard is overrated?
He is overrated, and I'm fine to agree with that. But I'm not having this fucking over-egging of the pudding, because number one, very clearly, right, in those seasons where he was doing well. So I'm gonna pull you up on that, right? So we were talking about 6 months, 2.5 years, yeah. In 22-23, he got 15 assists, 15 goals and 7 assists. In 23-24, he got 11 goals, 11 assists, right? So that's 2 good seasons. I'm not saying they're great seasons, but they're good seasons, yeah.
One definitely very good. The first one was very, very good.
But they're both good,
goals.
right? But they're both good. 11 and 11 still good, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So that's fine. But even in those times, I don't know who was putting him in the same conversation as KDB. And I remember being on this pod with you. We all said KDB's up here, and then there's a group underneath him. And it was the conversation of, is it Bruno? Is it Odegaard? Etc. Etc. right? But
Maddison was in there as well,
yeah, I don't know why Maddison was ever in that. But yeah. Right? It was who's that next rung down, right? No one ever said that Odegaard was as good as KDB. And if they did, they need to have their fucking head checked, right? But I do think it's genuine that he is in a same category as Bruno. And I think the big shift has happened now where I think, and you agreed at the time, he was above Bruno in those seasons, yeah? Now it's quite clear that Bruno's above him again. Yeah,
definitely the first one, yeah.
Now it's clear that Bruno's back above him. And I'd argue that with Bruno, probably class is permanent, right? Form and the Man United shit show that goes on makes people look shit. And now he's under somewhat stability, a somewhat stable manager, and he looks a lot better. But my point in saying that is, I do think that he belongs in that second rung down from the KDBs. should he be at the top of that list? I agree. No, he shouldn't be. So this is my whole point on this is, yes, he's overrated because we were trying to put him at the top of that category, where he's probably more like the middle to bottom of that category in actuality, if you look across his whole career so far at Arsenal. So that's fine. But putting him in conversations with fucking Szoboszlai off of the back of one good season, he's had less good seasons than Odegaard, bro.
I think they're different players. I know Khem.
No, but remember when Szoboszlai came in, he was bought to be their 10. And what's he now? He's a fucking pressing 10 / right back.
Yes, we bought him to be our 10, but gave him the number 8 and played him in Henderson's old role to do the tracking.
Regardless, did you buy him to be a right back?
He was more of
what Slot's doing right now, brother.
He was more of a Cam originally at Leipzig, though. But I do.
But yeah, for Hungary, he plays as a deep lying double pivot.
No. That's what I was going to say. I do think swiftly after you got him, you realised he wasn't really a Cam, and then you've repositioned him in midfield, and then the right back thing is crazy. But yeah, I agree with what you said, Jonts, and that was my logic. I'm not saying he's shit. Like I said, I'm not doing the IO thing where I think he's completely rubbish. I think he's still a good player. I just think he's been rated higher than he is. And I think what you said chimes in with that, aligns with that. I don't think he's bad. I'm not. My vote wasn't based on a sensationalist thing. It was just what I thought. Razor, do you think it's a mad shout with the Odegaard coming in at second, or do you think there's some logic behind him being slightly overrated?
No, I don't think it's a mad shout. I think there is some logic behind it. I think, as Jonty said, some of you you're having fun with it, which is fine. I don't really care. Yeah.
He's definitely got one of his fists balled up though. Off screen, he's got the after fist. So
I'm ordering chicken. I'm ordering chicken with my other hand. Bro. Like I really thought like there would be a bit more like, you know what I mean there, but it's not that. Odegaard overrated. I can stomach. You know what I mean. I think I've personally fallen victim to overrating Odegaard or over expecting from Odegaard. But I do think I think the other thing is as well as like, because he had that season, because he came from Real Madrid, Arsenal don't really buy players from them kind of big established clubs like that. You know what I mean? We very rarely get young players from them. So I think there was a lot of expectation. And I think it probably strayed into what could be described as overhyped. Or overrated.
But I think that's a good point, because I think we probably did the same thing with Ozil as well, right? Like we're imagining a player that maybe doesn't exist in our team.
Yeah. So we had big expectations, and then I think the problem with Odegaard is that he went and gave us a little taste of what fulfilling those expectations could look like. And that conceded, you know, as it is with everyone. It's the same thing with like, you know, Max Dowman playing bloody unbelievably and doing crazy things at his age. People are always gonna like. It's fair to say that like, oh yeah, we've not seen a 16-year-old do this like for a long time. People are always gonna take it one step further. People are always gonna be like, oh yeah, I haven't seen anyone do this since Messi. Like, like cool. Like Jonty said,
Mileage right there.
No, like Jonty said, whoever you think you heard compare my man to KDB, check that guy's hard drive, innit? Don't disagree with you at all. But I can like I said, I can definitely stomach it. I can definitely hear it. I don't feel offended by it. On to the next.
I do think the Ozil comparison is a good one as well, John, because it's a similar. I know he came in different circumstances, but similar pathway from Real Madrid. A lot of hype. Silky left-footed playmaker. Ozil had been in the team. I know he didn't necessarily fulfill everything that you expected of him, but he definitely, had really good seasons. I mean, the one where he almost broke the record for assists and stuff like that. He did show glimpses, and with that Odegaard season, I can understand the urge to be like, yeah, this guy's going to be one of the main guys in our team. But yeah, sadly for him.
Also bear in mind that he's our captain as well. Right, so that puts. I mean,
Yeah.
you want your captain to be really, really good, and if they're not, it's fucking heartbreaking. And that is what I am going through this year.
He's a bit like Gallas, really, as a captain, isn't it?
No, we don't mention that man's name on this podcast.
All right, let's go on to number one then. So yeah, fucking hell. If the others have been a struggle, here we go. Seatbelts on, guys. Number one is the star boy, of course, Bukayo Saka, 8 points. He was voted first by Khem, and he was voted second by Rhys, which got him the 8 points, and that's the reason why he's the most overrated Arsenal player according to the pod. So Khem, Rhys, do either one of you want to give actual reasoning behind it without, like, go light on the rage baity stuff so we can actually have a dialogue and not people shouting over each other? But yeah, let's, Khem, do you actually have anything to share, or is it just to try and get these guys rattled?
Sorry, did you kick it off by saying Starboy? Because he's definitely a supernova right now, man. That shit collapsed, mate. Let's think. Okay, so a couple of years ago,
down in preparation.
Couple of years ago, he was really good. No. I learned it at uni for first time. So apart from, what was it, 22, 23, I think he was really good, along with Odegaard. That was clearly a outperforming themselves kind of season for quite a lot of your players. Injuries haven't helped. You've definitely overplayed him. I'm not going to discount that at all. I think that's fair. But when you've needed him most, he has not shown up. When we're talking about someone to be the guy, like, you speak about him as the guy. He was, the last time Antony attempted a crash out segment, it was saying who's the best player, blah, blah, blah. And like at the time, the right wing position, this is like start of the year, he had Salah and Saka, and I couldn't even believe this other guy's name was even mentioned, because please actually give me a reason why his name's even mentioned. Aside from an FA Cup, which back then he was probably still playing left back, he's not been there for you when you've needed him. Even against Real Madrid, when you needed him to get it done, he did a shitty Panenka and fucked it up for you. When England needed him, shift his ass left back, or he misses the penalty, or doesn't even show up. Case in point from our picture here. I'm just asking, in those title charges, all those famous draws with the West Hams, the Fulhams, the Brighton games where that guy is still a meme, where they're laughing at you, where was Saka when you needed him? This season, you're going to win the league, treble you must, but he's still not going to actually be the guy that really is the reason you won the league. And I don't think that's outlandish to say. It's a collective effort. You could even shout big moments from Gyökeres at times, freaking, the centre-back certainly at times, and your overall style of play, but you're not going to really look at this season and say, yeah, Saka's the big reason we won the league. You almost want it in spite of him. And for 300k, I'm just saying, I don't know, man. I think it's pretty overrated, man. He's a nice guy, it's a credit to the community and everything. But for the way he's hyped up, year in, year out, so much shit. He's always just lauded with people, and he's in the worst debate ever, by the way, the one with Palmer and Foden. That one is going nowhere. That one needs to just stop, because none of them are better than each other. But two of them have actually contributed to trophies, though.
Move on
and
to
he's
Rhys
not in
now.
that too. There you go.
Rhys now. No more monologues. Come on,
Rhys. Just add in your two pennies. What's your thinking behind it?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a monologue like that. I was sort of rage baiting, but no, do you know why? Again, I think it's to do with the hype I saw when he was young, maybe, and the drop off that I've seen now. But then I think it comes down to obviously him playing a lot of football from a young age. I think they need to be careful he doesn't go down sort of the route like Sterling did, like loads of football at a young age and just get burnt out and forgotten about. I think obviously, his maybe output and contribution hasn't been as effective. And I think in some games, like maybe his ability to take on people isn't better than Noni's. And I think that's a bit of that could be a bit of a problem. So in all, I reckon just because of the hype, maybe at a young age, I don't think he's actually lived up to that expectation that he's had. But then I do put that down to overworking him a lot, because he's played so much football, and Arteta won't even give him a rest against Preston or all these lower league teams, so he can't catch a break. But I think, obviously he's still got loads of his career to go, but I just expected more for what I'm seeing. But yeah.
All right. So similar, slightly less rage baity than Khem's monologue, but similar themes. Jonts, Razor, we're not having it at all. Do you think this is just bias, just a little bit of hating because, either hating Arsenal or you've got Cole Palmer up against Saka, or do you think there's some like actual sense of truth behind this, him falling off?
From a personal perspective, like, I think that a lot of this and a lot of the discourse around like football, I don't think this is something that's unique to Saka or unique to Arsenal, but I think a lot of this stems from like hurt feelings. How dare you compare this guy to Salah, my glorious Egyptian king? How dare you compare this to Palmer, like, who's my guy? How dare you compare him to Foden? Like, at the end of the day, to say that Bukayo Saka hasn't turned up when Arsenal needed him is not only like fallacious. It's just like it's idiotic, innit? Like, he turned up for a lot of times for the club when he had no right to, when they were looking at other players, more senior players, captain players, players who'd played at the highest level for several seasons when he was just young, and he turned up and he was that spark there. And I think, again, I get what Khem's like sort of angle, and it seems sole enjoyment of not just the podcast, but football in general is like kind of funneled through this thing. But really and truthfully, if you're blaming teenage Saka for us not winning trophies in that period, a lot more blame should be placed on people like Aubameyang and Lacazette and whatever else. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's that. I think Bukayo Saka, for me, overrated is the wrong word to use for him. Like, this season, we could definitely use the word underperforming. We've had many discussions about his performance and how many goals and assists he's got. Like, I'm not going to do that because that's not what this pod's about. You can find him jarring. Like, I hear a lot of people say, I just don't like Saka, which I completely get. Do you know what I mean? But like, yeah, to pretend like to try and like do the revisionism where it's like Saka hasn't been that guy. Like, the fact that our entire the fact that we didn't have a left winger that was levels became so patently and blatantly obvious because teams were literally doubling and tripling up our right winger. Like, I don't know what you want me to say in it. Like, yeah, do some people overrate Bukayo Saka? Yeah, definitely. Some people think he's the best right winger ever, which I personally don't agree with. Again, I think like these rage bait attempts would be more successful if I hadn't given you guys my Premier League top 11 before. Do you know what I mean? Salah versus Saka, there is no debate in 2026. We might see in 2-3 years. But like I said the other day when my man retired, that trophy cabinet is brazy. Do you know what I mean? The Saka Palmer thing, other way personally, like Palmer's had a good season and a bit realistically, which involved a lot of penalties, which apparently we only count when it's Gyökeres or Saka. I don't know. I don't know. But like, yeah, at the end of the day, bro, like, okay, think Saka's overrated. You know what I mean? Like, we've all seen him play. Like, we've all seen him do it in an England shirt. Turned up more than the two guys that you want to compare him to. You were talking about comparing him to in an England shirt multiple times. Yeah, he missed a penalty. I've seen some great players miss a penalty in a shootout. Do you know what I mean? Like, or in like high pressure games. I'm not going to say that he's that guy. I'm not going to say he's the best right winger in the league. Overrated when I've seen, every other rival fans team on here, like, set up with a centre back and a midfielder as well as the fullback on my man. I don't know if he's overrated. Like, do your coaches overrate him? Do the opposition players that play against him overrate him? I don't think that's the case. But yeah, like, it's Arsenal, so you can run the trophy narrative. You can say whatever you want to say. Do you know what I mean? Again, I'm gonna be honest. If this is the last thing that I say on the whole like Arsenal segment, I feel like you guys really could have done better. I feel like you could have tried harder. Saka was probably the most predictable guy that could have ended up there. Odegaard, again, very predictable. Theo Walcott predicted, but a little bit more like you know, you're not all 14-year-olds on like a little chat room or something nowadays. But yeah, overall, I think you guys gave it a decent effort in terms of averages. I do genuinely believe it was Khem's best effort. I don't think he's very imaginative. But yeah, like he's Bukayo Saka, and you know, like similar with Odegaard, but it only happened for one season. There's definitely been multiple seasons in the past when you guys have looked at that player and looked at what he was doing and been like, I wish we had a player like that. I wish that was not on the opposition side. Do you know what I mean? Maybe Liverpool fans have enjoyed it because in that exact position, they've had the best player in the league for some time now, but he's fallen off and he's fucking off. So you will join the rest of us in hoping and seeing what's going on. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, in a line, Bukayo Saka overrated. You're trying to annoy me, and it's entertaining me because I think you could have tried harder. Niggas didn't talk about Sol Campbell. Nobody mentioned anyone like that, bro. Like, man, I'm saying Saka. Try harder, man.
Do you want to put a disclaimer in there real quick, and then he can order his chicken?
Disclaimer's in there already at the beginning.
Tell us how you really feel, Ray, man. Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, man. I just think no, bro. Wait, hold on as well. Yeah, you never shut up. When you're asked to talk about Liverpool, you talk for 20 minutes. When you're asked a yes or no question, you talk for 15 minutes. Yeah. So stop doing this thing where like, and literally, I've waited. I've sat through all your shite and all of your nonsense and all of your little and I've given my opinion. And I literally said, if this is the last thing I'm going to say on the Arsenal section, I'm going to give you my opinion. 5 out of 10 in terms of rage baiting, 8 out of 10 for effort. Do you know what I'm saying? I think you could have tried harder. I'm not upset by that. I'm saying if you pick Saka, Odegaard, and Theo Walcott as your top three, I think you could have tried harder if that was your option. If that was your
give us your top three, then, man.
I think if rage baiting Arsenal fans was your objective, you could have followed the instructions and picked the three most overrated Arsenal players. I think out of the initial swath of players that you said, yeah, there were more actual shouts in terms of our overrated players than like Jens Lehmann's a better shout than fucking Saka. Like,
but he's not. No one here really rated him to overrate him. So give us your top three.
But I wasn't allowed. I wasn't allowed to vote. That's not the point.
Yeah, you must have what the podcast about. Off the top of your head, you must have of three players.
Chem, we ain't got time for that because we got to do Chelsea, Liverpool, and United, and you know,
yeah, it's 51 minutes. Yeah, bro. Like, and this clearly, this is the like focal point of like why brothers get out of bed. And like I said, some people watch football now through a lens. Like, don't tell me that Khem has not got more joy out of hate watching Arsenal this season than he has done out of watching his own club fucking play. Do you know what I mean? So when we're having these convos, I'm like, if you want to make man mad, try harder. I'm giving you constructive criticism. Don't get upset with me for that, bro. That's not fair.
John, quickly drop. I guess you agree with Rhys as well that it's a bit of an outlandish shout for Bukayo Saka before we move on to Chelsea.
No, I'll say this, right? I think there's truth in it, but there's also, again, over-pudding. So the truth is, should he be in a conversation with Mo Salah off of what he's actually done? No. I'm fine to admit that. I'm fine to hold my hands up and say that I was one of the people that was doing that, right? I'm wrong, or I was wrong, and I get that. But at the same time, the bullshit that you said about him not contributing in the seasons where we were the most successful, even if we didn't get over the line, is utter shite. Because in 22-23, when we broke, can I pull you back to October 22nd or October 9th, 2022, Saka got the game-winning goal against Liverpool to beat you 3-2. And guess what? Man. It was a penalty. So have that. The next one.
Nunes scored in that game, bro. Have it, man. And he's
again, game-winning goal in that one as well. In the Man United game where we beat them 3-2, he scored again to put us ahead. In the Southampton game, same thing. So the whole bullshit about him not contributing to us in those seasons is utter shite. The fact that our asses fell out and we couldn't seem to defend a lead has fuck all to do with him. So truth in, but also absolute bollocks, because without him, we would have been nowhere near first or second in any of those seasons.
Yeah, I agree, man. And I think part of what Razor said hit the nail on the head in that underperforming for this last season and a bit is maybe the maximum I would say about Saka. I think overrated is extremely harsh. But I get it, you know. There's always a rage bait segment or element to this segment.
He went a year without an assist.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to Chelsea now. Don't want to get dragged back into that. So Chelsea, the players that didn't make the top three, so there were quite a few more players voted for on this list. We've got Cole Palmer and Branislav Ivanovic with 1 point, and Moises Caicedo as well with 1 point each. Let me check who voted for those guys. So, Jonty, I think you voted for Caicedo at third. Khem, you voted for Cole Palmer at third. And yeah, Nash voted for Ivanovic at third. So yeah, we've got those three guys have got 1 vote each. Then you've got a big chunk of players. You got this shout is mad. Big up Io for this one, but he pulled out Ricardo Quaresma. I've completely forgot that man played for Chelsea, but big up Io for that one. That's a mad shout. Claude Makalele was voted second by someone on here. That's Razor who voted for him. You got Romelu Lukaku, which is a bit of a techie one because he could be in the United list too, technically. Play for Chelsea and United, but obviously a bit more time at Chelsea. You've got Eden Hazard, who's voted number 2 by Jonty. Rhys's reactions are class. Damien Duff was voted second as well. I think that smells like that was a Nash shout. I think Damien Duff is underrated, to be honest, but all right. And then we had Joe Cole was my number 2 for 3 points as well. And then, the last player who was voted number 1 who didn't make the top 3 was, again, this is a rogue shout, so I'd like to get the person's input on this one, is Solomon Kalou was voted number 1, and that was Razor. Razor, give me the thinking behind that one.
Just never really rated him like that. I'll be honest, like I've never really rated him like that, and I think as well, and I'm glad that we did. I know why we did Arsenal first, alphabetical. I'm glad that we did Arsenal first because like the Invincibles thing set the platform for it. I think like Kalou was around some real guys that were doing some real stuff, and he was a cog in that team. But as a part of him being a cog in that team, people have put him on par with people that I personally, I've watched the guy play lots of times. I've never seen it, but it's like almost like Chelsea fan revisionism in my experience. And I think Chelsea have had so many great players in that kind of area of the park that's not really necessary. So that was, personal axe to grind. I did think I'd be the only person who had that shout. I have no regrets.
I hear it, man. I hear it. You know, someone that I forgot, which I'm fucking annoyed that I forgot, but I still think he probably doesn't fit the criteria, is I may have voted...
Rhys isn't happy to move on.
Go on, Rhys.
I just have one question. What Chelsea fans are you talking to that are putting him in conversations with these guys?
I don't know, man. Apparently they're from the same. They drink at the same pubs as the Arsenal fans who think that fucking my man's as good as KDB. Because I've heard crazy stuff on this pod. I will actually introduce you to these men. They're crackheads.
I must meet
you guys. If you're watching, I didn't mean that like that. It's a term of endearment. Please continue to watch.
I can't lie. That did throw me off. Like, because it's
a rogue shout. Rogue shout.
But yeah, fair
right.
play.
Yeah.
I would have put Bear of those honourable mentions in the underrated category.
Yeah. Damien Duff was the one that shocked me, but I mean, when I checked that came from Nash, I'm not really.
I know it's a joke to dunk on him. Oh,
was that you,
Nash?
Yeah. I voted Joe Cole because and he probably could be in the underrated one. That's just my personal opinion.
I retweeted a highlight reel of Joe Cole, and I'm gonna send that right to you now.
No, I've seen this highlight reel, and that's the one that actually set me off because I was like, you've picked all the best moments from Joe Cole when I watched bare of his matches. No. But like, hear me out. I watched bare of his full 90s, and he was absolute cheeks. And then I saw this highlight reel, and I was like, okay, now it makes him look like fucking, I don't know, English Ronaldinho. And I'm not saying he's rubbish. He's not rubbish. He was a good player, definitely. And I do think he was one of the few English players that played with like a little bit of flair and everything like that. But just, yeah, I just didn't rate him as highly as maybe some fans do. And I do think the revisionism point that Razor mentioned is definitely applied to Joe Cole. Oh, Joe Cole's such a baller. I think we all need to relax a little bit. I think he was a good player. I understand the stylistic element, and we weren't used to that many English players playing that way. But I don't think he was such a baller. I think it's been blown out of proportion a little bit.
He was the olden time Phil Foden, basically.
Yeah. He's a white boy with a little bit of emotion. That's what he is. Exactly what Joe Cole was. He might have been the first white boy with a little bit of motion as far as English football was concerned.
Yeah, he played in the cages.
And the other thing as well with like the players like that and the revisionism of it is that like a lot of the time it's like these players weren't even overrated like that when they were actually actively playing. So that's why, as you know, going back to my little clue thing as well, that's why sometimes like hearing people talk about them like that in retrospect is like, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah,
we were outside when these players were playing, and you're trying to come back and tell me there was some unbelievable player. And that's my only point. Who I was going to mention that I forgot, which annoys me now, but he might not fall in this category, is John Obi Mikel. But that might be just skewed because I've heard him gas himself up. But when we were outside watching him live, he was decent, and his best moments all came for Nigeria, and most of them came in like the Olympics and stuff like that. Like I'm not gonna now hear him gas himself on his podcast, talk about how he was some cold midfielder. He did decent stuff, but yeah, I might have thrown him in the mix, but that might have been harsh.
I only didn't put his name in the mix because Nigerian football has suffered enough for one calendar year. Thank you.
Fair dues, bro.
But the reason why I'm a bit confused on some of these is that like these are not the Chelsea players that Chelsea fans I've heard up, and this is why I would also like to meet whoever it is that was hyping up Solomon Kalou, because I would have put him in the underrated category because nobody ever talks about him. It's like him, Florent Malouda, Willian, man, like they don't get any shine. It's all about fucking big tits, Lampard, and all these. Yeah, Quaresma was just shit for you though.
Yeah, we were set for like 6 months.
No, that was a mad shout. Big up Ayo for that one. I think he was scrambling to try and send the list over, and he just has a personal vendetta against Quaresma. All right, let's get into the actual top three. So we're gonna definitely rattle some cages with this entire list. So number 3, with 6 points, he was voted number 3 by Ayo. He was voted number 1 by Khem, shock horror, and he sits with 6 points, and that's Rhys James. So Khem, come on,
shit,
give us your logic here. Why is Rhys James the most overrated Chelsea player according to you?
Man, I don't even know where to start with Rhys James, mate. But like, you're obviously gonna love him because he came through the ranks, etc. But I've seen a lot of people compared to the right back that we all know that's speaking fluent Spanish, yeah. And I saw Rhys James' name get pulled up in there so much. And then obviously it's not helped by the fact that Southgate was dumb enough to agree with such things and play him as well. Can't stay fit for most of the time as well, so he's not reliable. So the best ability is availability, and he's not. Rhys, we agree on a lot of things, but not on this one, mate, because we were having arguments about him being the best midfielder or something at some point. I was getting confused. For most of the time, I forget that I just assume he's injured. Like, he's one of those players, I just assume he's unfit somewhere, like Joe Gomez kind of settings. So when you were putting him in midfield shouts, I was like, wait, is he still playing for you guys? Like, I'm expecting his name to come up in Legends matches for you guys. Just to fill in the space. I've never really liked him. He's not even the best James in the household. He just annoys me. I don't like his face. I think it's more of a right back thing because I had to put up with so much. It's sort of like he's just included in a mixture of things, to be honest, right? Because I've had so many. Obviously, I don't even know why I'm trying to back Trent now. He obviously left us high and dry, but I spent years having to defend the guy. But I had to hear shouts from like Wan-Bissaka at some point, and like just every black right back was always compared to Trent for no reason. And Rhys James would always keep coming back round again like a bad smell. Like he'd have like a couple of months where he'd play well, or sorry, a couple of months where he'd stay fit, and then his name would come back up again, and it was just irritating. So it's like it's something that has bothered me for about 6-7 years of Rhys James, if I'm honest. Like, and then I even tried to say recently as well, like, you know, his leadership, you know, you guys get a lot of red cards, man. I'm just going to throw that one back in there again. You know, is he going to talk to his teammates at any point this season about maybe not lashing out if you're already on a yellow card? So I just wanted to get some hate in there on him. That is like years worth of just pent up just dislike for the second best James to win.
So I think we've discovered that it's mostly hate fueled in that one, Rhys. So I think you can understand where it's coming from in terms of that. I mean, Jonty, do you agree? I think this is more of the rage baity stuff that we talked about, right? And the other categories, maybe slightly, but I don't. I think it's harsh.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it because I mean, this is well, you know what I talked about before with a lot of the players that were honourable mentions. They aren't players that get talked about. This is a player that gets talked about a fucking lot. Like the Chelsea lot, they don't have a lot to look forward to these days. And this is their one to get up there, right? Like this is how they put themselves on the map whenever it's the combined 11s, you know, the cockiness, the arrogance of comparing Rhys James to anybody is apparently like brazy. So I can kind of get it from that point, but I will say like this season has probably helped him in that regard the most in terms of justifying why they were putting him into things. I know you're having a stinky season, but the whole availability thing, I think he's proving it. You know, touch wood, he stays fit, but like he's been consistently on the pitch, and it is shown that he is actually really, really good, right? And I agree with Khem on one point, right? As I saw someone, a Chelsea fan, saying, a respected one as well, saying that he's got what is it? He's got like Trent's on the ball ability. He's got, you know, they were combining all the best abilities of these various different right backs and fullbacks, and basically saying that he's got the best part of every single one of them. And I was like,
that was Kyle Walker.
He doesn't. Yeah, no, Kyle Walker. I'm not.
Chelsea.
Why the fuck are we listening to this guy? Right. But anyway, yeah, my point there is that like he is a really, really good player, but let's not push it so far as saying that he's as good on the ball as Trent. Like Trent literally changed the game in terms of like seeing a right back that was that good on the ball. I'm sorry, Rhys James is really good on the ball. He's not in that category.
Rhys, this is your chance to rebuttal. Do you think it's just gas and just hate, or do you think there's a little bit of in-house Chelsea maybe rate James a little bit higher than he really is?
I think I see why people might think he's overrated, but in terms of like what I've seen, and I've seen a lot of football at Stamford Bridge in the last few years, like in terms of technical ability, he's the best player I've seen come out of Cobham in terms of his technical ability. And that's made it through the first team. But I can see why, like, because you talk about his injury run, he has had a decent, like last season, and this season has been his best run of games. I think moving into midfield has helped, but I would never throw him in the best midfield conversation ever. Again, that wasn't something I would do. I might have said how when there was the talk with Rhys, and I said how he walked away with man of the match in midfield with 10 men and outclassed your best midfielder, the one that you lot hype up. But that wasn't me saying he's anywhere near the best midfielder in the league. Like, that's crazy. But no, I sort of see it. But I think with the run of games that he's had now, I think he is getting better. You can question his leadership. Maybe he's not the loudest. That could be maybe one thing. But no, I think in terms of technical ability, like I've watched many games live of this guy. Like Like he's quality. But like, yeah, everyone's sort of got their opinion on sort of him.
Don't get me wrong, he's a better all-round right back than Trent. It's just, and he might be really good on the ball. He might be technically really good, but he's not as good on the ball or technically as good as Trent.
Did you say the best technical player from Cobham?
100%.
Isn't Rhys from? Isn't Musiala from? Like, isn't there other players
that's come
from
out of Cobham and made it to the Chelsea first team?
Made it
Oh,
through.
just
Yeah,
the
that's
Chelsea
fair.
first team. All right, fine.
He's the best that I've seen. Like,
Yeah.
but-
I hear it, man. I think it's a bit harsh, but yeah, I do agree with Jonty on this. I think if we were doing this episode maybe 18 months ago, with the injury record, with the lack of like recent evidence of him balling out, I think this shout would hold a bit more weight. I think now, because we've seen him play a bit more this season, consistently been more fit, and like he's definitely been, if not your best player, like top 2, top 3 best players this season in a pretty challenging season you've had. So I hear it. I think this one's is a bit of a techie one, but yeah, Rhys James is in third with 6 points. All right, let's go to number 2. Is another one of your current players. He got votes from myself. I put him in at third. Io put him first, and then who else? Razor put him in third. So with 7 points, we've got Enzo Fernandez. And I mean, I'll throw it over to you, Razor, to put your thoughts behind this. But I think I've documented on this pod in terms of my thoughts on Enzo Fernandez. Like, I think his stats are decent. He has good games every now and again, like where he scores goals and he box crashes. But for 100 and whatever odd million, I think the rating to quality to what you spent on him doesn't match up. And seeing how he behaves as well, which I know we shouldn't really factor that into the thinking, but yeah, there's a whiff of a scumbag coming off Enzo Fernandez. So I think that all plays into it. And I just think he's not worth all the drama. If I was you, I'd just flog him. Like, I don't think he's worth the drama, but I get it because he's paid so much. They probably have to balance the books and all that. But Razor, what's your thoughts? Do you agree with anything I said, or is there something else that made you vote for him in your most overrated Chelsea?
Nah, all of the above, plus like you touched upon, he is just like a massive wanker, isn't he? So like that always like helps, doesn't it? In terms of stuff like this, I do think like the price tag. He was probably my most price tag influence shout. Like, there were a lot of people that I nearly put down just because of price tag and this, that, and the other. But like, funny enough, like, it's not that often that someone, apart from like Liverpool this season, it's not that often that somebody pulls up with a hefty price tag, isn't playing well, and people are screaming to justify the price tag. Like, the fans of that club are usually the most critical of that player while they're struggling to find form or struggling to be consistent. And I think it's almost the opposite with Enzo. And it's like you said, like, he had the big price tag. There was a lot of hype, and I just don't think it's really been that. And I think, like, you know, when we talk about like Chelsea like needing like a level head or someone to take the lead or someone like that, or when you talk about Rhys James not being the most like loud leader, like Enzo Fernandez has a lot to say. He doesn't seem to be saying sensible stuff to people who need to hear it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, all of that above, and just the fact that I think, yeah, I had to put one of your current midfielders in because, you know, you lot have got the best midfield in the league, apparently, player for player, but never see it. So one of them had to go in. I wanted to put in Caicedo, but I've never actually personally rated him like that, apart from like 15 minutes when I was quite drunk watching Chelsea play once. So like, yeah, Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah, I hear you. Rhys, do you have any? I can't actually remember if you like super rate Enzo or not. And I know this is a bit of a sensitive time because he's been out flapping his gums in international break as well. But yeah, what do you think of that shout? Do you think we're being too harsh, or do you think there's some validity in what we're saying?
Yeah, no, I actually don't disagree with that. I think, no, just in a sense that obviously how much we paid we should expect more. Though I think his output this season has been much better in terms of goals and assists, but I still think that if it's not for box crashing, he does sometimes find it hard to make his mark on the game. I don't disagree. We should be getting more for what we paid for, and I think the hype of the World Cup kind of put him in that expectation kind of thing. So I agree.
Yeah. All right. That was probably the easiest one we're going to do of all these lists. All right. Let's go on to number one then. I don't think this is going to be smooth. Let's put it that way. With votes from myself at number one, with votes from Jonty as well at number one, and votes with Nash as well at number one, with the highest score that we've had so far, and I think the joint highest of any player on this list. We've got the king of Ivory Coast, Didier Drogba, is number one. So yeah, before you crash out, Rhys, hear the logic. Johns, you can share the logic as well. He's crashed already. Drogba is a sick player. And I definitely think if I was going to pick a one-off match in a big game, he's definitely in my, like, he might be the striker I go for in terms of the impact he's had in big, big games. That I don't disagree with. When people rate him on that, I definitely do. But I think and this might be a retrospective thing, he didn't score enough goals, I think, to be put in some of the conversations that he is put in. And that was the logic behind what I was thinking when I thought, okay, who do I think? Because I've got to be honest, Chelsea was the hardest team for me to pick players on, because I don't actually think there's loads that are like overrated or like loads that are even underrated necessarily, right? They're all seemingly quite well rated. But I do think Didier Drogba, although he is a very, very good striker, and I think for 2 years he was definitely world class in my mind, I think there were a lot of seasons where his best work was facilitating Frank Lampard. And while a striker doing that, like Firmino-esque style, is valuable, I think some of the conversations he's put in, for me, he's definitely overrated. But yeah, definitely not one of those where I think he's rubbish. Far from that. But I definitely think he's slightly overrated. Johns, you thinking along the same lines, or do you have a stronger feeling about this?
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I think that there's like a glaze that gets put on him because of the big moments thing, right? That he's looked upon in such a in a much more positive manner than the people he really belongs in a conversation with, right? Like, he gets put in conversations with people that he doesn't belong anywhere near, right? When we talk about like Premier League best strikers, he shouldn't be anywhere near that conversation, right? He's nowhere near the Agueros, he's nowhere near the Kanes, he's nowhere near the Shearers, the Rooneys, none of these dons. He's in that B tier below them. If they're the A tier, he's in the B tier. He's with the Fernando Torres of the world. I think one person that was mentioned earlier, in terms of their goal record, Lukaku is criminally underrated and laughed at constantly. These are the players that he belongs with. Like, he's just slightly above that category of Giroud and Adebayor. And he gets put in conversations with fucking Aguero and these man. So, I get why. It's because you haven't really had, another great striker to put in that conversation. So he's the one that you shoehorn in. But yeah, he's had 2 seasons where he broke 20 goals in the Premier League. And he was with you for 9 years? I just don't think that those numbers match up to where he gets placed in the conversation. So yeah, unfortunately, I think he's madly overrated. And I think he is lucky. I think in this day and age, people will be calling him fucking bulldozer or bodybuilder or whatever else they're calling man these days. I know he was better technically on the ball. I'm not saying that, but he's lucky that it doesn't get typecasted into this fucking just big wildebeest up front that a lot of other players get typecasted into.
Anyone else want to add anything? Do you, Khem, Razor, you man didn't vote for him. Do you think we're being too harsh? Do you kind of see where we're coming from? Minus the wildebeest comment.
I cannot abide this. I cannot abide this.
I don't think so. Sorry, you go.
No, like, I agree that Chelsea fans put him in some conversations that it's maybe a stretch, but yeah.
To collect that number, to collect that many first place votes is a bit insane to me. Like, I don't think.
Fuck me, you've made me agree with Khem.
Every episode we've done this, guys, the run still goes on. I think he had a 30-goal Premier League season.
Shut up again.
No,
you ruined
He
it.
did. He had one. No, he had one. He had 29. He had a really, really good season. He had loads of assists as well off of like 31 games. So yeah, no, I agree. And that's where he belongs to be, where he is. Right? Like, that's what keeps him in there.
He was also.
But you also had seasons where he got like fucking 9 goals, and you are killing Gyökeres for that in his first season. So I'm not having it.
15 points. Drogba is voted in our system as the most overrated Chelsea player of all time by 15 points.
That's insane.
Not by 15 points. He got 15 points.
He got 15 points.
Yeah. I just want to clarify that because already this has got clip-worthy connotations.
I think that's some PTSD from some of you boys there. He bullied all our teams, guys, man. Like,
no, you're doing it again, though. You're doing it again. You're doing the big moment stuff, bro. Look at his fucking goal record. He's got bare seasons where he got like 5 goals or 8 goals in the Premier League off of 30 appearances, bro.
No, but remember the caveats, guys. We're talking Premier League, right? So we're not like, we kind of have to compartmentalize some of the finals and other things. Like they're factored in the quality of the player. But when I did go, well, obviously, because when I was doing the votes, I was like, all right, I was looking at certain players that I was thinking, oh, maybe my bias is making me lean towards this player. Let's look at the stats. Let's understand a little bit. Let's do some research on it. That's when I was looking at the record that Johnson's talking about. And there's some outlying seasons where he went mad and did amazing. But like, he had a fairly consistent beat drum of what you would look at a striker, like top striker. We're talking about the top echelon of striker. We would never forgive them for having those goal records in that category. That's the thinking behind it.
2 seasons where he got 5 Premier League goals.
Let Rhys come back now. Let Rhys have, because he's been shaking his head and understandably, not necessarily agreeing. But
I'm with you, man.
Go on, Rhys. Rebuttal.
I just don't know what to say. I mean, if anyone you could have picked, you picked him. I mean, John, so I understand why you picked him. I mean, he's terrorized you for your whole childhood. But like, I just don't that. But if you're equating the Premier League, even then, hell no. Are you mad? Like,
what conversations does he belong in?
He scored 33 goals in the Ancelotti season. He's won 2 Golden Boots. You have to also take into account his output when actually up against defenders and bringing in players into the game. Like, I don't know. And all right, we're not talking about finals, but man got 10 goals in 10 finals. You're great, so-called Henry, who, by the way, I think is the best player in the Premier League. But you're so-called great Henry, who left you to join the team he couldn't beat.
This is my point. You're bringing up Henry. Bruv, stick to Adebayor and Giroud. This is who you need to compare my man to. Stop talking about Henry. He's not in the conversation with Henry.
Your great captain who ducked you couldn't even bag a final goal for you. And you're talking about my Didier Drogba. Are you mad about overrated? Do you want to talk about overrated?
Okay, so what conversations is my man belonging in? What conversations
my Didier Drogba is crazy.
My Didier is nuts.
Tell me, has Henry ever scored 5 goals in a Premier League season?
That was mad. What season did he score 5 goals? Please tell me.
He scored it twice.
He did it a couple times. Yeah.
He did it twice. In 2008, 2009, he scored 5 goals in the Premier League. And then he did it again in 2011, 2012.
I
hear you, though.
Man's putting up half of Gyökeres' numbers and you're trying to tell me about Henry, bruv. Shut up.
He's 4th. Yeah, but you're just talking about Prem. Like, I just think it's so disingenuous to talk about just the Prem when it's the whole.
That's what this whole argument is about.
No. That's actually why I raised my hand earlier, because
I just think
the wording was Premier League era. It wasn't just on the Prem.
Because
like, when we get to Liverpool, I want to make that.
if you're looking at his sole contribution to Chelsea, like he's fourth in our all-time top scorers. Like, what on earth could you?
And Martinelli, as we discussed before, and Martinelli would be number 8. I don't.
To be fair, that list isn't. I'm with you on everything apart from that list.
Top 10. Yeah,
it's not a great list, that one, bro.
No, but like, yeah, I just think overrated is strong. I just think overrated is strong. I think you can't just look at the Premier League and justify that. And even then, he still picked up 2 golden boots. So certain men don't do that when they come to the Premier League. So like, I think overrated is strong. Like, yeah.
I don't expect you to agree with it. He's a baller, and like I mentioned in my little reasoning, he was definitely world class for a period of time.
The only thing I'll slander him for is he didn't get it done with Ivory Coast when they had their golden generation team. That's the only thing I'll slander Didier for was the 2 finals he didn't show up in, which was for them. Otherwise, it's outlandish, man.
As Khem would say, he let his country down. He let his country down.
I also think you're also not taking into account his actual contribution on the pitch, because he wasn't just the number 9 that would run beyond defenders and score goals in the box. Like, he did a lot.
No, he did.
He was
Heskey that scored in finals. Yeah, great.
So,
yeah, all right, there's the clip. There's the clip in for when we do the clipping part for the shorts. Heskey with all right, let's move on to Liverpool. This is not going to be any less controversial. But at least we get to rage bait Khem. So, Razor, Jonty, Rhys. All right, let's lock in now. All right, so we had 7 players who got votes who didn't make the top 3. And then we got 2 players that both got 5 points. We'll need to decide between the 2 of them who gets 3rd place, right? So let's go through the players who didn't get in. So this is a mad shout. Like, who the fuck wrote this? Nash, of course. Nash went in. Martin Skirtle. I don't know who the fuck rates Martin Skirtle, but he voted Martin Skirtle. And you go from that to then the other player with 1 point and vote in 3rd is Steven Gerrard. So you've got Steven Gerrard and Skirtle. That's a great juxtaposition.
Who did that?
Rhys voted. That's definitely fishing. Well, maybe because he didn't go Chelsea. Rhys has put Steven Gerrard in 3rd. And then, we've got Jamie Carragher got 2 votes.
That's fine.
He got two points. So I think Razor put him 3rd, and then also Ayo, I believe, put him in 3rd as well. So he didn't quite make it. And then you've got tied with 3 points, Mohamed Salah, Andrew Robertson, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Those votes, where did they come from? John's put Salah 2nd. Where are the rest of these coming from? Rhys put Trent, so he got you back on that one. He put him 2nd for 3 points. And Razor went for Andy Robertson at 2nd. So those 3 also didn't quite make it. And then, the one who just missed out with 4 points is Fernando Torres. And so I voted him 3rd. And then someone else voted him 2nd. Who voted him 2nd? Torres was voted 2nd by Nash. So, he just missed out. And then, okay, Khem, do you have any thoughts on them? Obviously, you're laughing at periods, so some of them have cracked you up.
Skirtle is hilarious. We'll carry on from there. The fact that he actually has a full head of hair is the biggest shock from this man. I don't know if you've seen him recently.
Ashley Young.
It's mad. Gerrard in there, fair enough. That's fucking jokes. Gerrard and Salah are just funny ones. And then who else was in there? Robertson, Trent,
Jamie Carragher got a couple of votes.
Robertson and Trent are good bait attempts there. I respect that one, Razor, especially with Robbo. Fair play. And then, sorry, who else? Robbo, Trent, and then the last. Carragher is a weird one because I don't like him, but I've actually argued for and against him many times with Ant privately. Like, he did get a shit ton of clean sheets, and he was part of, like, I think Pepe Reina had like 3 golden gloves. I don't know if they're in a row, but you can't dispute that. Like, I know the setup of the team was defensive, I don't like him. I personally was glad when he retired. It's a weird one for me. I think he was a vocal leader. I think his abilities were quite limited. I think he maximized the best of his limited abilities on the pitch. But his best moments were in games that finished fucking 3-3. And we won on pen. So it's a weird one. So yeah. But I also don't like him, so fuck him. You can have him down there just because of how he is off the pitch.
What about Torres? Because he's the one who just missed out. He was voted third by me, and he was voted.
Yeah, do you know what? Have him, because we didn't even make a cup final when he played for us.
Yeah, my logic behind it was he was balling out for like maybe 2 seasons.
I'd give him 2.5. Too many injuries, bro, and that was it. He fell off.
And obviously, like he absolutely killed us a few times, so you got to give him props for doing that. But my biggest memories of Torres was like Euros. I like think of him more in Spain stuff than for what he did in terms of like helping Liverpool.
Prem was good, yeah, but some of these big matches, he wasn't there when he just wasn't fit. Yeah. Like the time when Chelsea finally got over on us in Europe with Abraham Grant, Torres was out injured. Like, even some of those title runs, maybe we might have edged one of them against you. Maybe 08-09, if he'd have just stayed fit a bit longer, we're not having to play David and go up front or Dirk Kuyt up front, things like that. So I'll go back to the availability thing as well. He was great, but I could see why you put it was overrated, because I remember Jonty used to say that back in the day, so he probably did vote.
No, Jonty didn't vote for him. It was me and Nash, I think.
For Salah.
Nash. Johns went the rage bait route. All right, we'll get into the top 3 now. So we're gonna have to decide this between us. So we've both got 5 points. How the fuck did they both get 5 points? Io voted first for Alexis McAllister. So he's got 5 points, which the timing on that stinks because he's been absolutely diabolical this season. But all right, I'll hear it. And then also joint first with 5 points as well is Javier Mascherano. So what are we thinking, guys? Are we thinking leaning more towards McAllister or Mascherano? Khem, will come to you first. What do you think?
Both Argentine is what I'm laughing at here.
They're weird shouts in my humble opinion, but yeah, those two are the ones that are in there.
Mask wasn't even here long enough. I don't think he was here long enough to really even say anything for him. What did we have out of him? 2.5 years, 3.5. He left. What did we get him? We got him halfway through 2007, sold in 2010. You could Alexis. You could maybe argue Alexis at the moment if you wanted to, because the drop off is unbelievable that he's had at the moment. Age 26, 27. To the point where he's now shaved his head and he's showing off his like bald patch and shit. Like he actually looks like a McAllister this time. So you could have him in there if you wanted to, which is harsh because he was arguably our best player at points last season. Well, certainly in key moments. So I wouldn't put Mascherano in there. I think he was really helpful for us. I think he was a key component to the team. He enabled Stevie to go and roam a bit more further forward, and Xabi as well. I think he connected the team really well. I would have him in there.
I would agree with that. Razor, what's your thoughts on this? Do you think they're both crazy shouts, or do you think one of them is the obvious choice?
I don't really know, to be honest. I don't remember enough of Mascherano that clearly to be like, he was bare overrated. And I feel like he's the equivalent of my Kalu shout, in the sense that I don't really hear anyone ever talk like from a Liverpool perspective being like, he was the guy, like, if we had him in this modern day team, like I never hear that kind of chat, so it's weird for me. I would probably go McAllister because I've heard some people sort of say, like, I know quite a lot of Liverpool fans now currently who rate him very highly, and I don't know if I feel like I've seen it to that extent.
I agree with you, man. And I think the Mascherano one, you're more likely to hear stuff from Barca fans. I kind of think of him more as a Barca player than a Liverpool player.
Really. Yeah.
I would lean toward McAllister as well. What are you saying, Rhys? Do you think we should go with McAllister on this one? I think it's probably the better shout.
Yeah, most definitely. And just off the fact, I sort of more associate Mascherano with Barcelona and being a defender. So yeah, I'd definitely say McAllister over Mascherano.
All right, we're going to put McAllister in then. So he's the third most overrated Liverpool player. All right, now we get to the fun stuff. All right, voted number 2 with, again, quite a sizable number of points, 12 points. Voted number 2 by myself. Voted number 2 by Io. Voted number 3 by Jonts. Voted number 1 by Rhys. Is your favorite player, Khem? The Dutch, Chinese, Surinamese giant of a centre back, Virgil van Dijk. So he's been voted number 2 with 12 points. Razor didn't vote for him, but he's
no. But I know who number 1 is, and I was trying to be serious and flipping actually vote for people that I thought were overrated rather than just trying to rage bait this prick. Sorry, I mean Khem. And as a result of that, I'm glad that I still got to hear Salah and Van Dijk in this segment when I shut up and not do what Khem does.
Yeah, so Khem, all right, you're going to have your chance to, sing lullabies and, sweet poems to Van Dijk and, get on your soapbox. But my thought process is not purely to rattle cages. It's just based on the fact that, and this is similar to the Drogba thing, I actually do rate Van Dijk, and I do think now, like I said to you, throughout hearing all the crazy shouts from you about him being the best centre-back and in conversations with all these players for years and years and years, that now he definitely deserves to be in that conversation. But the pure fact that I had to hear it from you for fucking years before that,
never wrong, just early,
unwarranted in my mind. And the fact you've got people like Jermaine Pennant saying he's the best centre-back of the Premier League era and all this other stuff.
Spot on.
He is definitely overrated.
Yep.
The fact that he's the best defender of this generation, no doubt. He's still one of the best defenders in the Premier League and probably one of the best defenders in Europe, although it's hanging on by a thread now after this season. But yeah, in my mind, it's similar to the Drogba shout. It's not at all that I don't rate him. I rate him very highly. Agree that Van Dijk was at world-class level. I would argue probably longer than Drogba was, if you compare them. But I would just say that he has been slightly overrated for the majority of his career at Liverpool. And the only time he's been more closely rated to what he actually is in recent times. But that is my logic behind it. But you will see that obviously Io, Jonts,
recent times. His first full season.
And Rhys.
How many centre backs got top 3 Ballon d'Or?
Before he starts waffling shit as well.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, go on. Let's hear some bollocks for the viewers.
The main thing is, so he's a great defender, right? He is
greatest
in terms of his attributes and all that kind of stuff. Like he's made to be a defender, which is perfect, right? Which is good. However, the fact that we put him in all these conversations of being, and not even putting him in conversations, like Liverpool fans literally put him at the top and they say it's undeniable he is the best centre-back of Premier League times.
Absolutely.
That's utter shite. The reason why it's utter shite is because in this day and age particularly, the defensive system contributes way more to whether a defender looks good or shit than it would have done in the previous times gone by, right? When we talk about fucking Rio, when we talk about John Terry, when we talk about these dons, we're not talking about this style of football that Pep or that Jurgen or that even Arteta is trying to do now in terms of this really solid defensive structure. I know that Jose used to park the bus a little bit, but let's be honest, you actually had to fucking defend and make decisions on your own. And we've seen this season, when that defensive system ain't necessarily there, what does he do? He shakes his ass and runs away, right? And that's where I'm going to say, decision-making wise, can he survive when he hasn't got anyone to rely on, when he hasn't got the perfect left back next to him to perfectly play exactly how he wants to, or a DM to protect him? Can he actually make all the right decisions? Can he continue to show that high level? Yes or no? And I think the answer so far has been no. And so that's why I'm going to say he belongs in that conversation. But this madness of saying that he's outright the best centre-back the Premier League has ever seen, and the arguments that you make about, he hasn't had a consistent great defender next to him and this, that, and the other, that's utter shite.
Never made that.
Right? He's had a system that he's known, that his team has known, regardless whether it's Matip or whoever else next to him. He's had a clear system under Jurgen Klopp the whole time. Right?
Okay,
Whereas
it's
we know
highlights,
now that Fergie was just fucking throw boots and vibes.
At rest.
Right? Throw hair dryers and vibes.
It's harder to
Pay off refs
defend
and
now
vibes.
than it was back in the day.
Rio and Vidic were just putting their fucking nuts on the line. Terry was doing the same thing.
Vidic was eating grass most of the time.
You're talking about player of the season, 2-time player of the season, my friend.
Yeah, so let's not throw Rio. Let's not throw Rio in these shouts then, since his centre back partner was actually voted for. No, go on. Who wants to start their bullshit next? Who's up? Come on.
Rhys, I think you're the only one left on here that voted for him. So what's your thinking?
I just think they're throwing him in conversations he shouldn't be thrown in, to be honest. I rate him as a defender, but all this all-time top stuff, I'm just not trying to hear it. And obviously, like we've seen, and obviously the twerking, like he needs to stop that, man. Like he needs to.
Okay, all right. Do you know what? You got John Terry to back. I hear that, bruv. I hear that loud and clear. I can throw in a nice John Terry fail comp for you if you want. It's disgusting, by the way. You're lucky that he got most of his career done before the social media age, because he'd be outside with other people's wives a lot more often. But who's next? Who's next? Razor, you want to throw in some bullshit too?
No, you didn't vote for him, so I don't know what.
I didn't vote for him. Do you know what? Funny enough, I did actually end up having a conversation after playing five-a-side the other day where we were doing the who is the greatest in X position in the Premier League era, blah blah blah. And I was surprised. There were a number of Chelsea fans there, but I was surprised how many people were really strongly against VVD being in a top 3, top 4 conversation, even.
He's in the combo. He's definitely in the combo.
So yeah, clearly, maybe he deserves his second place overrated Liverpool medal, and maybe I'm part of the problem. Maybe I overrate him. So,
go on. Soapbox.
All right. Okay. Mr. Vidic, Ferdinand, and Stan, you got 2 to pick from. Either of those 2. Top 3, even top 5, even top 10 if you want. Ballon d'Or. Have they ever had a season in that? No.
What are we talking about?
Rhys, John Terry.
Has John
Terry ever had a Ballon d'Or top 3 or top 5? To be fair, I'll give him his World Player, World 11. It was in that. I think it was 5 straight years. I'll always back him for that one. But has he ever been top 3? No? Okay, cool. And definitely not on the Arsenal guys. So you said to me in recent years we're giving Van Dijk his flowers, yeah? But he did that in his fucking first full season. And the only reason he didn't win it is because we had 7 people nominated in the top freaking 20. So they all took votes from each other. That's why Messi flipping won. So actually, aside from Cannavaro, he should be the next guy to actually freaking win Ballon d'Or. Because we had so many nominations, he didn't win it.
Pavel Nedved.
Hey, he balled out, man. He did better in Europe than your guy. But yeah, so he actually made the Champions League. Great year, treble. So I just want to say, like, which one do you want to pick? Because these are talking about Rio, but you argue Vidic, so you're fighting amongst yourselves. You also always throw in Yap Stam, and he played like 1 season, 2 seasons. I don't even know how he gets those shouts. I will listen for John Terry. Okay. I'll hear John Terry shouts because he was consistent. He was slow as fuck.
Burnley boy.
He did well with the ability he had, and he also got some crucial goals quite often as well. And I think he was a pretty much decent leader, certainly vocal leader. He was like the manager on the pitch. So I'll give him that. I'll give John Terry his flowers. So if you want to argue that one, I hear that. But all the other ones, if you were to make a centre back in a lab, you'd have Van Dijk. You want the speed. You want the composure. He's good with both feet. You obviously want height. Aerial threat, great touch, probably smells amazing. That's what you want, okay? Virgil van Dijk.
We don't need his fucking Tinder profile. You're ghostwriting his fucking Bumble, mate. Settle down.
I think VVD's recent twerking has had like a very big effect on Khem. It's like a mating dance.
It has.
Man,
it's not a recent thing. He's always defended in that manner. And it's also harder to defend now than it was back in the day. Most teams play a high line.
First defending. We love it.
Most teams play a high line.
Let's do number one. Let's do number one.
All right. Yeah. I mean,
Terrible
at least 5 out of 5 for your angle in defense, Khem. So hats off to you for that one. All right. Number 1, he got voted first by myself. He got voted first by Jonts. He got voted first by Razor with a grand total of 15 points. The top scoring points in this segment with Didier Drogba earlier, don't crash Rhys, is Captain Jordan Henderson. And my logic is he's fucking shit. And the fact that you guys put him in all these conversations and the captaincy thing is literally his safety cloak from the fact that what was it that Alex said? He's got like birthing hips or something, or he runs funny or something like that, and avoided him like the plague. That guy, he has scammed a career. And the fact that he's basically just a very good, like, long distance runner is the only reason why he's gotten any plaudits or anything like that. So, yeah, Jordan Henderson, the other people I've been very respectful on, but I won't be respectful on Jordan Henderson.
He's shit. Who's had him in argument? When have I ever argued for Jordan Henderson on this pod or in the group ever?
It's not personal to you.
I don't think I've ever seen.
We're talking generally.
We were glad when he left because he fell off. Like he was like the end, like just purely to cover Trent, like, and because that side of the pitch wasn't going to defend much, Salah and Trent. Let's be real. So he was the legs to help cover that, like a lot of zonal shit. Like I don't understand why
he's just fucking Darren.
I don't think he's overrated. I don't think he's ever been in conversations. He's never been in best midfielder shouts. I don't think he's ever been.
No, but this is my point.
You said all your fans, like,
to be overrated, you don't need to be rated highly. He's rated medium, and he's still fucking overrated because he's dog shit.
Jonty, as Jonty eloquently put, like, there are different scales to this, right? So you might think we're being harsh to Drogba because you think when we're saying overrated, it's like he shouldn't be rated, when actually what we're saying, he should just be rated a bit lower than he is. With this one, it's the same thing applies, but way further down the scale, you know, near the bottom of the scale. He's shit, bro.
Well, if he didn't technically he's mid.
Klopp, he would have won nothing in his career, right? He wouldn't have had the Saudi bag. He would be still shuttling around Sunderland. He might not even be their starting 11 right now. They've got a baller. You know I love Sunderland, right? He's not better than Siddiqui and Xhaka and all these, man. He's shit, bruv. And I'm telling you right now, everything he got, he should thank Jurgen Klopp for, and Gareth Southgate as well, and now Tuchel as well.
Well, most of the players should thank Jurgen Klopp for what they got. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, but some of them
I agree. I agree with Hendo. There's many times I wanted Hendo out the team. Like, anytime we were linked with a player, I'd be like, yes, Hendo's bench. Like, I was glad. But where I'll give him his credit for us was when he was available, because a lot of our other midfielders that we freaking had were always injured, yeah. Naby Keita made a Weetabix. Thiago made a freaking paper mache. Oxlade-Chamberlain, I don't know how he passed his medical at your club and my club, for crying out loud. We had so many players that just couldn't survive. Like,
so we're rating him because of his attendance record. He's getting 100% attendance like we're in primary school, yeah?
Well,
if that's the case, we need to swap Rhys James with Drogba, mate.
Well, the thing is, like, I think Hendo, technically, we all know was not good at all. Like, most of the time was very much hoofing it. It's bouncing off his ankle, off his shin. Terrible. Like, God's sake, get off the ball kind of thing. But I think the job he was asked to do, he done it to the best of his ability. I don't like miss him in the team. I think it was a good, like, I guess we could say a sort of a situation like maybe when we spoke about Terry in terms of in defense, but like good vocally, etc., etc. But I've never seen him in like mad arguments. Like, I've argued other players way more than and I know you're saying not me, but as a consensus, I don't know who you guys are around with where you've had.
No, but my point is that you should be cussing him out as being shit. You shouldn't. I don't need him to be brought up in conversations of being great. I need you to tell me, and for all Liverpool fans to admit, he was fucking shy.
It's a shame we didn't have the pod years ago. You'd have seen me cussing him out many times for being shit. I'll be honest. You've heard me slander my own players. I'd have slandered Hendo like crazy, but I'll also give him his dues. I do. Okay, do you know?
He also doesn't deserve a nickname. Just call him fucking Jordan Peter Henderson or whatever his fucking name is.
His nickname's actually El Capitan. But Here's where I'll stand.
Never have. That is proof that he's overrated. He should never have a nickname, El fucking Capitan. I almost threw up in my mouth. That stinks.
Why does the
Why
does the whitest white bread guy get that nickname as well? Like, he should be called something like the captain, the skipper. Like, he's the most English guy available, bro. Like, where did El Capitan come from?
Well, he's gonna have a lot of recency bias because he was like he was the opportunity. I think he's the only captain for us that's literally lifted every trophy that was possible. So yeah, you have the captain bias. Where I'll slander him is the way he left was disgraceful. Like, everyone talks about Trent, yeah. The moment he was told, like, you're gonna potentially be on the bench now, as he rightfully should have been told he was on the bench. Like, it was like a horse that's, you're gonna have to put him down soon, yeah. You've done great, you won bare races in the Middle East, but it's time now to take the needle.
He didn't win any.
He ran off straight away.
He was middle of the pack.
No, hang on. He done this twice actually. The year before that, he wanted to get a new contract. Laptop nerds were like, nope, you're definitely. Our algorithm says you're going to be shit real soon. We'll give you 1 year. He was crying for like 2 or 3, and he does all this weird stuff where like his team or something will like leak shit to the press and do all this kind of stuff behind the scenes to make a drama out of it. And he was the only player Klopp ever spoke about publicly saying give a new contract to. And they done that and wasted money on him, which could have been invested in other midfielders. And then he left like a crybaby bitch anyway to Saudi, which he's admitted he regrets.
Doesn't this all prove our point? Like,
that's off the pitch. You're talking about him on the pitch.
No, he overrates himself. He thinks he deserves to be on that pitch. He deserves to be fucking Gareth Barry. He deserves to go and play for fucking Aston Villa.
Many players do that though, don't they? Many players will do that when they're especially if they're a captain and they play bare games. They're gonna think they shouldn't be being a bench boy. But I think he left like a twat, and he's also a bit of a hypocrite because this is my slander. You're slandering on the pitch. I'm actually slandering how he acts off the pitch because he's betraying himself as a golden boy. But then what was that whole rainbow thing? Like, and then he ran off to Saudi anyway. Allegedly, if we want to throw in allegedly, if anyone's But yeah, well, so
no, that's all fact.
So. Yeah, that's where I'll slander him in terms of like I don't know if he's just protected because we all know why he might be protected, which Ben White wishes he was protected. Like, yeah, but that's where I'll say like, all right, he's getting a lot of praise because of that.
All right, let's hear from Razor and then we'll move on to the United segment. You voted him first, Razor. You've been very vocal about trying to, really go after the players that are definitely overrated. I'm guessing you've got something to add on this, or do you agree with this has been pretty slanderous? I'm not gonna lie.
Oh no, I actually don't have anything to add really because I super agree with both Changs like on this front. Like, shit guy should thank not only Jurgen Klopp, but should thank Trent. He can thank him in Spanish. I think Jordan Henderson speaks Spanish. He should thank Trent and he should thank Salah for like just basically being so good at what they did and also simultaneously so refusing to do the other elements of what was expected from players who were less good of them in their position, because that basically allowed him to have a platform to be like Gareth Barry, James Milner, whoever the fuck you want to say it is, but like that's what he was doing there, bruv. Like, and like for me, giving him the armband because he was a steady presence on the field, it's like I'm like, all right, cool, fine, yeah, I get why that you'd make that decision as a manager, but yeah, like there are no conversations that you should be brought into. Personally, like I've heard and had a lot of conversations with different opinions about like the Rainbow Lace Initiative and like Mark Gahey, like all of these different things. But I think I can understand respecting somebody who believes something and stands by it, even if I disagree with what they think, more than I do somebody who says X and then goes to do Y. So basically, Khem, on the pitch, trash. Off the pitch, trash. Number one. Next segment, and
yeah, beautifully segued. All right, let's go on to United. Now, with United, this is an absolute shit show because you man all voted for different people. So we're going to have to literally decide the top 3 live on the pod because there's 5 players all with the same amount of points.
Because you overrate so many cunts.
You absolutely, well, settle down now. And this is gonna, yeah, you've given me the nice task of doing this live. But let's go through the 8 players that got votes but didn't make it to the top 5 selection. So we've got Mason Mount and Eric Cantona both got a single vote. Who voted for them? Yeah, Rhys voted Mason Mount in 3rd. Yeah, I can see a pattern developing with you, bro. Nice one. And then I think it was Jonty who voted Eric Cantona in 3rd. So they got one point each. Nemanja Vidic got 2 points. He was voted 3rd by Io and also Khem. I was quite surprised at that. I was expecting some more slander on him, but yeah, pleasantly surprised in that. And then 4 players got voted 2nd. So we got Michael Carrick, Bruno Fernandes, Ryan Giggs, and Antony Martial. So yeah, Io voted Giggs 2nd. Khem voted Bruno 2nd. Rhys voted Martial 2nd, and then Razor voted Carrick 2nd. And then just missing out the selection pool is Gary Neville. So he was voted 3rd by Razor and 2nd by Jonty. So my thoughts as the only Man United rep on here is I understand some of them. Mason Mount is shit. I don't think anyone rates him. If they do, they need to give their head a wobble. Eric Cantona, that you lot are a disgrace. Whoever voted for him, Jonty, you're a disgrace. He's class. Vidic, you know my thoughts on that. Martial, that one hurts, but I can accept it. He definitely was overrated. But yeah, I liked him. Giggs, I actually agree with. Pure longevity. Before you even get on to the fact that he's a scumbag off the pitch, everything around Giggs is definitely framed with that longevity thing. And Jonty, you obviously, as a brother in the house, with me cursing Giggs out watching United play during his career. So, you know, I can't lie now and act like I thought he was fucking cold his whole career. So there's definitely moments I struggled with Giggs. Bruno, I kind of get it. He's flip-flopped from people all hating him to now everyone is on this bandwagon that he's so amazing. So I understand how that can swing. Carrick, I think, is a bit harsh because I think he's underrated in my opinion, but that could swing both ways. So I understand that. Gary Neville, that is super harsh. He shits on himself all the time. So I don't know how anyone else rates him super highly when he's constantly in the public eye saying how shit he was and all these other right backs were better than him. But I kind of understand it from a playing perspective. He wasn't the greatest player and he was definitely one of our worst players that we had at the time. But that I think has more to do with the quality that we had on the pitch than him necessarily being rubbish. But I could see it. All right, let's get into the top 5, which should be the top 3, and we'll work it into the top 3 now. So, Ruud van Nistelrooy got 1 vote from Jonty. He's voted most overrated United player. Marcus Rashford got 1 vote as well as number 1. I think he was voted number 1 by Rhys. Paul Pogba was voted number 1 by Khem. Roy Keane was voted number 1 as well by Io. And this is a funny one. Well done, Razor. This one made me chuckle when you sent it through. Chicharito was voted number 1 by Razor. So let's work through this and work out who we're gonna put 3rd out of that list. There's gonna have to be 2 players we dump out of here.
To make it efficient, should we just give whoever voted for them like 30 seconds to very briefly say why they think that person should be included?
All right, go on. You tell me why Ruud van Nistelrooy should be included. Go on, Jonty, you start.
Because you somehow believe that he's actually got technical ability. He was a fucking horse. He was a Dutch Gyökeres, Weghorst regen, who just got lucky by being a really good team and just smacking from within 5 yards. Shit.
Pure bias.
I rest my case.
No, you act like he's fucking Pippo Inzaghi or closer or something like that. You need to.
This is why he's overrated. He's fucking Melito a little bit longer.
Melito's cold. I don't know what you're talking about, man. You've got a problem with your eyes. All right, who voted Rashford? Go on, Rhys. Give me your pitch. Why do you think Rashford is overrated?
I just think, same thing. Overhyped at a young age, came through and didn't really do nothing. Didn't drag United out from the depths of hell where they were, and decided to chip off to Spain and try jump on the winning team. So I just think he's overrated. So.
All right, fair enough. Khem, Pogba. This is gonna piss me off already. I know it.
He left you on a free. You spent 90 million on him, and he came back with a Carling Cup and then left you on a free again. And when you guys tried to defend him, you mentioned France. Every time there's a debate to defend Paul Pogba, you mention France, not Man United, what he does for France.
All right. I knew the angle was going to be he left on a free twice. You spent 90 million on him. And more hairstyles than trophies or whatever. I hear it, but I don't give a shit. La Pioche is cold, and no one will change my opinion of that. So,
I don't care about his hair, by the way. That's
I know that's your legends that talk about that kind of shit. All right, Razor, what's your Chicharito?
Up until that very last comment where he may have saved himself, Khem and Rhys sounded like they were writing for the Daily Mail in their last two points on Rashford and Pogba, respectively. Just throwing it out there. Pause. Chicharito. To be honest, this is just the second coming of Kalou. I don't like him. I've never liked him, and I hate how certain Manchester United fans that I have to deal with talk about him. So I put him there. If I was going to be democratic and apply my 5 points elsewhere, I don't know if anyone in this finalist ranking would get there. If I had to pick out of the guys in the finalist ranking, I'd probably join Team Angry Chang with the Dutch Gyökeres, Weghorst Reloaded.
Oh, you man stink. All right. I don't know how we're going to pick this. But do any of you volunteer to change your points over to someone else in this top 5, or even someone else? No, you can't really go outside the top 5. Any of you volunteer to change?
Razor just did. I get my vote. He's third.
All right. So Van Nistelrooy is third. Fine. I can live with that as long as he's not first. All right. From this list, who we put in third then? Is anyone else? Razor's out now. He can't change it. Is anyone else put their points somewhere else? Pogba, Rashford, Keane, or Chicharito? I mean, no one's gonna say Keane because I was stuck the pod. But
surely Pogba, guys.
I can't pick Pogba, man. I can't.
Because of France?
Man.
No, because he's fucking Paul Pogba. You prick.
Cold.
What's he done? He was cold.
Fuck off, Khem. Just fuck. Can we just get rid of him on this basis? He literally just said, "What's he done about Paul Pogba?"
What's he done?
I can't pick Keane. I suppose I could go Chicharito, but I don't know.
No. We're talking about overrated, and you're doing it now with Paul Pogba. So he belongs there.
You are mental.
I like Van Nistelrooy. I like Van Nistelrooy. I think Ant's got some.
Khem doesn't watch football, guys. It actually makes sense that he thinks that Pogba's overrated.
He is overrated.
It actually does.
Can I ask
make sense.
to rattle two people at the same time? Who's better, Drogba or Van Nistelrooy?
Drogba or Van Nistelrooy? I would go Drogba, but it's
Drogba any
pure.
day of the week.
No, I would say Drogba's a better striker because of the things we mentioned before. Like we it's framed to rattle, of course, but none of us on this pod, well, Jonty was a little bit more negative, but said that Drogba was shit or that he was wildly overrated. So I think Van Nistelrooy is not what you guys have said. I think that's obviously should be rage baiting. I'm hoping. All right, so what does that leave us? I'm comfortable with Rashford being overrated, but again, I'm not saying it like I think he's a very good player.
Too easy.
And he was a very good player for us. But I don't know if anyone rates him like that. right now.
No, I think he ruined his own rating with what happened at the end of his time before he left.
And he
So
wasn't.
I don't think you lot are on that anymore.
He wasn't a wonder kid as well. I think there's a confusion as well. He kind of came out of nowhere, a pause, and like it wasn't like he was coming through the academy and everyone thought he was the next big thing. It was kind of like again pause, but it was he got a position in the team because we had like 3 or 4 injuries, and then just started scoring and
I know a wonder kid you paid for, and he still let you down.
But he's not in the top. He's not
you
in
broke
the selection.
The transfer record for him, and he disappointed you.
You're lucky you didn't have Wirtz in yours, mate. So settle down.
I think I did before Ant said I couldn't put him in there. To be honest,
you couldn't vote on Liverpool, you dumbass. So
that's what I just said. Fucking hell, you get the freaking wax out your ears.
Let's actually vote this through then. Out of Chicharito, Keane, Pogba, and Rashford, Jonty, who you put in second?
Sticking with Van Nistelrooy. Oh wait, second.
Van Nistelrooy's third. Van Nistelrooy's third.
Okay. Ooh.
Wait, is he third or is he first?
I mean, what were you guys both saying first?
Oh, yeah, so I've got to put Rashford.
Now, if you're saying
first, so these are all tied.
We'll do. Yeah, they're all tied. Literally all tied on 5 points. Every one of you fuckers picked a different person for it. So we can put Van Nistelrooy first because if that's what you two both agree that he should be number 1, we'll put Van Nistelrooy first.
No. I mean, I'm also happy with Roy Keane first. I just to put a cat amongst the pigeons. I think he's also massively
because I was happy with Van Nistelrooy third.
Roy Keane was actually a baller, man.
Keane was a baller.
Roy Keane was actually a baller, bro. He wasn't just a freaking guy who just runs around kicking shins, man. He actually could play.
Irish Jordan Henderson.
No, he actually could play. That's how I know you guys are definitely. You weren't there, man.
I was gonna call him a pale Caicedo.
These two were watching football just through Vine, bro. Roy Keane was actually a baller, man.
Bro. Every single point in this discourse here where someone has talked about somebody, you've been like, "I've got a compilation to show you. I've got a compilation to show you."
I've said that once.
That's you, bro. No, you said it 3 times. We'll run the tapes. When the episode
ends. Do you know what? It's because the Premier League recently didn't they release all of their matches from history, and he's probably just been watching every single match. From the beginning,
that's what he rubs on.
Let's just do the vote live then. Who should go third, Jonty? Out of these 5, you just vote now. Who should go third in your opinion?
Okay, I'm gonna change mine, and I'm gonna say I will put out of those lot. I will put Roy Keane third.
All right, Khem, who you putting third out of them lot?
Third, is it just Roy Keane, Pogba, and Van Nistelrooy, or was there one more?
No, it's all 5. Chicharito, Keane, Pogba, Rashford, Van Nistelrooy.
Third, I'll put Rashford.
All right, Razor, who you putting third?
Third, I will put Chicharito.
We're going to end up in the same fucking place. Can we just make it your top 5?
Is anyone watching on the live? Can they list it in the comments?
Yeah, no one is watching.
Anyone who was watching just jumped off, I think, when Khem was talking about Ballon d'Ors earlier. All right, I think we'll just go with the top 5 then. None of them can be separated. Those are the 5 players that you've put in the top 3 overrated, so we have to break our own rule. All right, let's move on to the last segment of the pod. We've obviously got FA Cup quarterfinals coming up this weekend. City, Liverpool, Khem, you're losing, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, good. I'm glad we cleared that up. Southampton, Arsenal. Do you think you guys will actually rotate a little bit? Because obviously I know Southampton are doing really well in the champ, though. So it's probably not one you can overlook too much with all the injuries and everything. Do you think you guys will actually rotate, Jonty, Razor, or do you think you'll go strong?
Yes, we will rotate, but I mean, it will still be like 50% of our first 11 and then 50% of others. But I will just say one thing. If I see Kepa on the fucking pitch, I'm turning it straight off. All right, I'm not watching it. I'm doing a silent protest. Bluco out, but it's Kepa out. Get fucking Tommy Setford in. I don't care.
I agree with Jonts on everything up until the Kepa thing, because this is the exact kind of fucking game that Kepa should be playing in. Do you know what kind of fucking game he shouldn't be playing in? Yeah, City in a fucking cup final in the stadium behind the prick in the top right corner. That's my problem. So
no, but this is exactly my point, though. Is if he plays him now, he's going to do this whole bullshit that he did.
No.
Man needs to learn a fucking lesson and learn it right now.
Mikel must have learned his lesson. He must have learned his lesson. He can never do that again. Otherwise,
if he'd learned his lesson, he would have he would have gone on FM, set release for free.
Yeah, I don't think
we need to egg his vehicle. If I see Kepa in another big game, yeah, you lot called me an Arteta sexual before. You're gonna call me crazy names if I say what I want to happen, because no, I've suffered enough. No. Anyway, this is too long to talk about Southampton. We will rotate. We should win. I would love to see Max Dowman on the pitch. And yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I think you guys should get through it, even if you do rotate. But yeah, there's obviously the injuries as well that Khem was talking about too. Chelsea, Port Vale, Rhys, this is your last fucking hope for anything in the season. So I'm assuming you're expecting Rosinha to actually play the big hitters, or you think he actually will rotate more again?
Well, what's the point in rotating? This is the only thing we could potentially win. And if we go to we're not even going to win that, actually, now that I think about it. I think, yeah, he's got I don't think he'll rotate. We don't play for another week after this anyway. So maybe a couple Cobham graduates might get on the pitch if it turns into a rout. But yeah, I don't even trust with Rosinha at the dugout. It will be a rout, probably 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw their bottom of League One. Fuck knows how they got it to this round of the FA Cup. Yeah. They've had a couple scalps, but they're bottom of League One, broski. I mean, we're not even going to talk about this anymore. All right, let's go on to the Champions League round of 16, first leg then.
Wait. Who are United playing?
Yeah, we're training, bro. We're doing, shirts against skins at Cobham.
In England or overseas anyway? You found somewhere to do your training camp? Because you said
we're staying home. Yeah, we're not getting into that. Relax yourself. All right. Champions League round of quarterfinal. Sorry, first leg. Arsenal, Liverpool left in. Khem, PSG, big game. Obviously, if things don't go well against City, this might be your last hope of silverware as well, and it's a pretty tricky game. Do you actually think Liverpool can do something in Paris, or do you think it's underdog settings?
Nothing.
Oh, Arnie Slot. I love this guy. I hope he gets a new contract, man. Bumper contract.
That was your shortest Liverpool contribution on the pod.
No, ever. Beautiful. But yeah, no, I actually think you're not going to get pumped in Paris, but yeah, it's not looking good, man. If you're watching Doué and these man for France and all this kind of stuff, they're just getting some form. Barcola as well. Potential long day. But we might get to see Van Dijk twerk. All right, Sporting against Arsenal. You guys, I mean, surely this is a win again. You know, Southampton, Sporting, these are not the biggest challenges in the world, but obviously Sporting pulled off the miracle to get past Bodo Glimt. Jonts, do you think there's any chance of any sort of upset, or do you expect a comfortable win in Lisbon?
Gyökeres hat-trick.
It's true though. He does turn up against the shit teams, so this is where you expect to see him. Razor, I'm guessing you expect a win as well? Or you're not going to waffle about Gyökeres, are you?
Gyökeres derby, mate. Of course, it's going to be massive. I think, yeah. Like, I'm looking forward to it. I'm expecting him to do something, especially because like the sporting admin were like on social media, they were getting a bit funny at the start of the season and that when he was struggling to get goals. They were like the English speaking one. You know how like all of these different league like clubs have English speaking accounts. They were like, "Oh yeah, sorry Arsenal, no refunds." think Victor's done a little hair flick and locked that in the bank, innit? I think he's got something for them, man, still. Yeah. They're not to be sniffed at, Sporting Lisbon. But yeah, I would be very, very, very disappointed if we were to exit at this stage.
Also, in the future, can we never ever call beating Bodo Glimt a miracle again? Thank you.
They were 3-0 down, bro. I'm not saying the win in the team was a miracle, but 3-0 down, it's a miracle for Sporting, man. Well done to them. But nah, I hear it. You guys got to knock out Sporting, but to be honest, I wouldn't be shocked if it was like a Leverkusen thing, where you kind of drew or got a narrow win and then beat them at home. I don't think it's going to be a massive cakewalk, but you never know. All right, that's the end of the pod.
Wait. Rhys, who are you lot playing? Who Chelsea playing?
You're gonna run this joke on everyone every single cup.
Every single fucking week. Every week.
We advanced. So it doesn't matter.
Playing, yeah. Van Dijk is a nigger in Paris still. Yeah, he's still in Europe.
Relax yourself. All right, let's quickly wrap up the updates on the prediction league before we end the pod for this week. So yeah, we got some updates. So Jonty is now still top with 111 points, 18 correct scores. Rhys is in second with 107 points and 19 correct scores. Io is up to third, 103 points and 15 correct scores. Khem is now in fourth with 100 points and 16 correct scores.
What's still on 100?
Razor is fifth with 96 points and 11 correct scores. I am sixth with 93 points and 9 correct scores. And Nash is enjoying Zambezi somewhere. Yeah, I'm not even going to call out his points total at this point. It's finished for him. But yeah, we'll wrap up the pod here. Super long episode. If you guys can make it through that top 3 overrated players list, you deserve a medal because it went on for fucking ages. But you know what I mean? We're going to chat through some of the shouts. We've got some big ones. Drogba, most overrated Chelsea player. Jordan Henderson, most overrated Liverpool player. Bukayo Saka, most overrated Arsenal player. And 5 Man United players are equally all the most overrated. And on that note, I'm going to end the pod here. Thanks for tuning in this week. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, drop us a like, leave a comment, share the video. And if you're listening on the audio platforms, please follow us, give us a 5-star review. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care.